Lyvation, ENT.
Once again, I'm DJ Strong, and I want to welcome everyone to another special episode of Lyvation Conversation. This episode is sponsored by 3amstudios.biz, where we can take care of all of your personal production needs. So just hit us up, 3amstudios.biz. Before we get started today, I just want to thank our panel. We have some very special guests with us today. And as always, you know, we have a very prestigious panel of musicians, producers, people of musical business, I should say, and just people from all different walks of life. So I want to thank our illustrious panel for being here. LA, are you there?
I am here. How is everybody doing today?
Hey, bro, I think we're doing great, man. LA is our resident author. He's a media mogul, producer. He's done a lot of things in this industry. And he's a staple here at Lyvation Conversation. So LA, you know, we got a lot going on right now in our communities, and we got a lot going on in our studios around the world. So with that being said, I'm gonna pass it to you so we can get this thing rolling.
Well, as always, I'm honored to be here and to be a part of this incredible ongoing Lyvation Conversation. We've had great people on, we've got great people on, and we're going to get even more great people on. And with that said, this kind of reminds me of another of those rude awakenings for me, because we had Chris Jasper on a while back, and I was really surprised to find out that he was one of the main forces behind a lot of the Isley Brothers hits. That's right. So we got Harmony and Magic. I'm sorry about that.
That's
but
all right.
and doing my research, I was just surprised to find out these guys are staples as well. Anybody knows about the Whispers. I've been listening to the music of the Whispers since the 70s. And I tell you what, I was able to check out some videos that Strong sent me on you guys. And as soon as it started playing, I felt that vibe. And it was no doubt that you guys are a part, if not a big part, of the sound behind the Whispers. So I'm really honored to have you guys here. I love music so much. I love you guys, and I'm definitely ready to learn more about you. So welcome to both of y'all. Thank you for being here, and let's run it.
Yes, well, we're excited to be here. You know,
Hey, let's give a big hand to Harmony, Blackwell, and Magic Mendez, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
I'm clapping for myself.
Thank y'all, man. Hey, man, I appreciate y'all for being here, man. I know you've been busy, Sandy, working on some new projects. And before we get into all that stuff, man, I just went online and checked out some of the new music that you guys have just released. So can you tell the people, first of all, where they can find your material?
Well, the name of our group is called Me and My Friends, and you can find it on all social media platforms. You can go to meandmyfriends.net. You can go to our Instagram. It's both of our names, Harmony Blackwell 2691, or Magic Mendez 2691, or Me and My Friends 2691.
That's it. Tell us about some of this new music that you got out. I was checking out some of your videos that you had.
Well, I think the latest song is
The Night of You.
The Night of You. You remember a while back we recut the song Help Is On The Way, because right during the beginning of the pandemic, we decided we wanted to make some music to kind of lift people's spirits up a little bit and remind them that ultimately, regardless of what, we're all in this together. Now, you know, Strong, I lean so much in the way of metaphysics and quantum physics that at any point I might start drifting. So you're gonna have to get me back in here and start talking about music. But I did that song, Help Is On The Way, and it received accolades and people really enjoyed it. I even received some messages from the original artist, which was the Whatnots. One of the guy's daughters reached out to me, and she said she appreciated that I brought her father's music back to life. I don't think it ever died, but that's what she thought. And now this new song we have out, I also wrote it in the beginning. No, it wasn't really the beginning, but it was a little bit shortly after the pandemic started, because I started thinking about the different women out there doing work that they were never receiving credit for, from the healthcare workers to people working in supermarkets to moms that are home dealing with the children to wives to professional business women out there in the field, and they were still out there doing their thing. And I thought about, from the guys to the women, we wanted to make it a night of them, to honor them. And it was night when I did the song, so it was kind of cool. And I thought the night of you, because you is anybody. It's any female coming from any male. We're saying we want to honor you. This is your night. So that's how that song came about. And it really took maybe 20, 30 minutes for me to actually get to write the whole concept. Of course, it took longer to cut the track, as you guys know, because y'all are studio buffs too. Usually it takes me a day to cut a track. That's why the Whispers love working with me, because normally I'm really quick and I play all the instruments myself. So it's easier for me to cut a song because I'm not waiting for somebody to come and do anything. I do everything on my own. So the night of you took me about a day and a half, because I cut one half of the song, and then the next day I did the horns and strings.
Was that the song though that didn't have lyrics originally?
It didn't have lyrics. I was gonna make it as an instrumental, smooth jazz. Well, I call it new jazz type song.
Okay.
And one day I said, you
had the title.
I had the title, and I kept telling the girls, I said, harmony and vision, that's my backbone. And I said, I think I'm gonna write some lyrics for it. And of course, they're supportive of whatever I want to do. So they were like, oh, that's cool. And then that same day I finished the lyrics, and then I cut the song, and then they were all blown away by it. And I was kind of, patting my shit on the back because I finished it all in one day, But it's fun. It's fun doing that, man. I think I enjoy making music more than I do anything, because I think I shared this with you strong before. For me, it's such a spiritual rush, because I feel like I'm bringing something that's within my spirit out and manifesting it into reality for other people to hear through speakers. So that in itself is a miracle to me. That's something that's inside of us, all of us on this panel. And we suddenly burst it out into the ethers, and it becomes a real manifested thing that other people experience. So in a way, we kind of give birth. I know we're men and we can't do that kind of shit, but it's kind of our kid. When we put it out, we're giving birth to something.
And then with COVID happening, we actually put the video out first before we even released the song, because we felt like everything was just time sensitive. And so we said, you know what, it's not even about what we're getting back, it's about what we're giving to people. So that's why we're just now releasing the song, because then after that, it was like one thing after another. And then we were originally going to put out How Long on Us. And the only reason why it went to the Whispers is that we're very close with one of the Whispers, Scotty's wife, Marilla. And so we always send her our music. And so we sent it to her. This is our next single. She loved it. And Scotty just happened to walk in the room and was like, what is that? And she's like, oh, this is Magic and Harmony's new song. He was like, run that back. And she ran it back, and he was like, get Magic on the phone.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning.
1 o'clock in the morning.
He's in LA sleeping and shit. I mean, I'm here sleeping and shit. He's in LA, and he says, get Magic on the phone.
Right now.
And so, of course, I got on the phone. Scotty and Walter have been my heroes since I was a kid. And which I'm sure all of us probably agree that, the Whispers are legendary, and they're just, and even more important than so much artists, they're incredible human beings.
Beautiful.
And so I gave him a pass because he's such an incredible human being. But I was like, damn, I'm trying to sleep and shit. But he asked me, he said to me, he said, Magic, you're gonna think I'm crazy, but can the Whispers do this song? And I thought, damn, I mean, I literally, listen, I was gonna release the song the next day.
Right.
Literally. Because Harmony said, nah, it's Mother's Day. It's gonna get caught up in the rigmarole of Mother's Day. So don't release it yet, just wait another day. Yeah. So it was gonna be released on Mother's Day. And that was the day Scotty called me in the middle of the damn night, talking about give it to the Whispers. So of course I didn't fight him because I love him. And I thought, well, this would be great. And plus there's no better honor than your heroes, your musical heroes, to want to do your music. When I was with Earth, Wind & Fire, with Maurice White, we were signed to him for years, and we were like really, really close, like best friends. And it was such an honor for me to work with people that I grew up listening to and loving like crazy, and then them following my direction, that just made me emotional just at the thought of that. So when Scotty asked me, it was a no-brainer to me. I said, yeah. And I gave them the song, and me and Harmony flew to LA to cut their vocal.
12 days later.
Because I don't know if you saw it, Strong, but I'll send you the original video that I did. I did a video on me and Harmony.
Okay.
And that's the video that I sent to Scotty's wife. And when they saw it, they just went, okay, we need to do a song. Scotty didn't even see the video. He just heard the song from a distance and wanted to do it. And so we did that. And, now we're working on a whole completed album project for them.
Because it really lit a fire under them, because sometimes as popular and famous as they are, we're all human. So they're so humble. They're like, no, people don't really. And I'm like, look, I am in it, but I'm a Whisper diehard. And I was telling them, you guys just don't know because you're you. I said, all you have to do is do a scat, say anything, just show up, show your faces. And people are going to be excited. And even through when COVID first started, I was so excited when they decided to start doing the Sunday motivation, because I was telling Scotty one day, I said, Scotty, you actually have to. I said, you don't realize it, but I'm telling you, people are relying, you lend comfort to people if you all just get on there and say something. And
just something, tell the people that y'all okay, if nothing else.
Just something, because people love the Whispers. And then again, when they're on the street, you can walk up to them. They're just regular guys. I brought Hamilton to the show, and he hung out backstage with us, and he'll tell you they're just regular. In fact, they're probably the only people that's Hamilton's height. like Scotty and Walter remind me of like chocolate Smurfs.
Hamilton, how dare you?
We love Hamilton, so that's not a cap. I think that it's amazing. I'm sorry, you heard him. I'm saying it's amazing that these guys, they're so, when I was a kid, everybody looked big to me. Everybody looked really tall. I'm sure we all can agree on that. You see somebody on television and they look like a giant. And then when you meet them, you look in the other direction, you're like, wow, so it's kind of it's funny, and we joke about it all the time because Scotty has to jump to get in his Jeep. I'm always telling him, man, I'll put a step ladder over there for you. And I kind of hate to say this, Hamilton, but I kind of watch you do the same thing with that, trying to jump into your SUV. But we love you no matter what, man. It's adorable, man. But I really want to tell you guys how much I appreciate being able to hang out with you. When you came to the house strong, and Hamilton brought you over, I told him if he loves you, then we love you automatically. And it's amazing because as soon as we saw you, we connected instantly. I felt like an incredible energy from you, as well as you remind me. I was expecting you to say, save 40%. You sound so much like the guy from, you asked me, am I in good hands at one point? I said, that's what I know you. The other people laughing at me, they understand what I'm saying.
Hey man, I'm not gonna sell no insurance today though. You know what I'm saying?
Look at him, he's showing his hands. But yeah, man, I had such a wonderful time with you guys, and I'm really looking forward to coming down to your studio and cutting a project there, because just to be around all you brothers' energy would probably be a wonderful change for me. I'm always in my studio all the time, so it'd be great to be able to.
Oh yeah,
we can put on hazmat suits and shit if we got to work that way. That's what Scotty and them had to do to cut that song. They had to put hazmat shit on. But you do what you got to do when it comes to the music.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, because I know real quick, because I know some of our panel they want to introduce themselves to you as well. So I'm just going to be real brief, but just talking about the music and the metaphysics of it all. Isn't it amazing, Harmony, how the things that, like, if Magic sits up in the studio, comes up with these melodic songs, it evokes lyrics from you and him as well. So I feel like the music helps create, it doesn't stop, because and
even this going with this panel, there's so many positive things that have come from COVID that it's mind-boggling at this point. And it's like, we could have been doing this before, but we didn't think about it. And now we're going to be able to continue on once we get back to the norm. This will continue to be our norm. It's going to be a part of the new norm. And I'm excited because, as you said, Where'd you go? LA jumped into another screen. Oh, there you are. As you said, LA, it's like sometimes you don't even know that what a person has been doing or where they are. And we have a bunch of band members from when we were in high school. Magic and I have known each other since high school.
We were 16.
And recently, a lot of our band members from back then, back in the day, we've hooked back up. And when we start telling our stories, we've been performing. Sometimes we've been in the same state, but at different venues on the same exact day. So we've even been talking about the same thing, that we all need to get together and tell our stories. And I'm sure that's about to happen with some of the stories that we'll hear from you all. The end.
Ham, let me meet your mic, man. You still there?
Yeah, get somebody talking, because you know me, I'll run.
No, we want to hear from you, Magic Man. It's all about y'all today.
No, I want to hear from my other brothers, but you know, the thing, Harmony, you mentioned that Harmony comes up with ideas. Well, we have this song that I want to share with you brothers also. It's called Fight. And it's so appropriate with what's happening now. And you know, I'm more of a pro-human being type person. So I love a little bit of everybody, and I can't stand a little bit of everybody too when it comes to some things. But I do recognize that we all come from the same source, so I try and make sure I acknowledge that. But I wrote this song, Fight, and Harmony, I gave her the song and said, go ahead and give me some lyrics that apply to what's happening. So she went and came back with the song, and I cut.
Now, mind you, this is a rewrite, because we did this song. We did this song years ago,
after
and it was spoken word.
It was spoken
but he
word.
Wanted it to be different. He wanted to have
it
a melody.
where I sing, have a melody. So she wrote some lyrics that I think you guys are gonna really, really get a kick. If you heard that noise, Vision's back here. Her phone kind of went nuts, so she's trying to run now, and I'm putting her on blast. But anyway, you know, Harmony, she writes these wonderful stories, and this song in particular is so appropriate to what's happening now. And although most of my songs kind of lean in the direction of having some sort of message, some positive message, it's really important that we do this now, because I think if we don't rise up and decide to take our power back, then we'll forever give it away. And this is the time for us to decide we don't need to take this kind of bullshit anymore. And it's not about, to me, it's not even this is like a slavery that doesn't even know any color. It's not even about color or anything else. We just got to wake up as a people, you know, and I'm not one of these people talking about let's go tear shit up. That's not my thing. And I'm not against anybody doing their thing. I'm talking about me, myself. I'm speaking for me. I like to approach things more from a productive space where we can affect more positive and long-lasting change, as opposed to getting a quick fix. You know, I don't like, we live in a microwave society where everybody wants things right now. They want it to happen now. I talk to a lot of young artists, and they think, oh man, I've been busting my ass for years and I still haven't made it. I go, really? How long you been doing this? About 2 years. You know why I'm being silent right now? 2 years? Look, I started this shit when
you haven't even got started yet if you're only 2 years in.
And I mean, they're serious because they think everything's supposed to be instant. But you know, when you look, there was a cartoon when we were kids, you brothers probably remember, it was Bugs Bunny, and he was racing a tortoise. And so it was the tortoise and the hare. And me personally, when I was a kid, I used to think I wanted the shit like that. And I'm thankful to creation that I didn't get what I wanted back then, because I probably would be either dead, in prison, or fucked up in some other kind of way. If I got it then, because I didn't understand what it was. Now that I understand my priorities are straight, I understand what all that is, I'm less interested in that kind of thing. Now I'm more interested in making a difference on a broader scale, so that when I leave this world, my legacy will continue. A lot of these brothers that are putting out these songs, whether they're singing or rapping or whatever it is, that's not the point. The point is the people that want instant fixes and they want things quick, it goes away just as quick. So eventually they'll have a hit out now. I know a lot of artists that have hits out and no one knows who they are now. I want to know that when I'm gone and I'm dust, I may even be coming back here. I want to be able to hear my shit then. Or I want to be able to know that whatever changes I made are affecting people now. Mm-hmm. And so to me, it's important to recognize that if you're looking for a quick fix, if you're an artist looking for, or not just an artist, anything in this life, if you're looking to get it really quick, then it falls as quick as it rose. Is that right? Rise, rose, you know what I'm saying. So I prefer now to go smooth sailing like the tortoise and steady as she goes, and just take my time and do things right. So I got a true foundation under me. And that includes friends. And, I don't believe that we can really do anything on our own. I believe you got to have a great team with you. You got to have a great foundation. That comes from who you are spiritually and how you were raised, but as well as the people you surround yourself with. I kind of flip some people out when I talk to these young artists, and they'll tell me they be running down and flossing for me and all this shit. And then they'll tell me about themselves, and I'll tell them, you know what? I told one person this and kind of flipped them out. I said, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. I don't really need to talk to you. Just show me your friends and I'll tell you exactly who you are if you don't already know.
My mother said that all the time.
You know what I'm saying?
All the time.
Because it's true. You think about it. There's a reason we all grew up listening to the phrase, birds of a feather flock together. That shit really means something. You hang around people. Like, I left New York and I was a different kind of, you'd never believe this. None of y'all would believe this. I was really a different kind of brother back then. I mean, Harmony is probably the only person that knows me long enough and Vision that I came from the streets of Jamaica, New York, hung out in the Bronx and Brooklyn. Y'all already all know those kind of neighborhoods. I was a different kind of person. But I educated myself. I moved to LA and I wanted something different. I didn't want to go down the path that my friends did. I didn't want to end up in prison or Rikers Island or dead or whatever. I know I'm going to leave. None of us make it out of this world alive. So at some point I am going to leave this world. But I want to know that when the time comes for me to leave, it's a good day to do so. I want to know that I've done everything, fixed what I could fix, apologize for what I couldn't fix, and just do a good life, do something positive and make my mark matter. And so when I left New York, being a different person, I left to LA and I went and educated myself. So I started hanging around people that were successful, because success leaves clues. Vision used to always tell me that years ago, success leaves clues, and it's very true. It leaves clues to how it became about, as well as success rubs off. When you hang around people that are doing good things or bad things, whatever it is, that's why I say, show me your friends, I'll tell you who you are. If you're hanging around a bunch of knuckleheads, breaking in houses or whatever, chances are you're probably gonna get caught up in that. You look at somebody like Anthony Scaramucci, he hung around Trump, and I'm not saying, you know what, this ain't a political thing we're doing here, I'm just making a point. And out of his own mouth, he said, when you hang around people doing anything, eventually that thing becomes normal to you. So I like hanging around people that are positive. All the people on this panel, if Strong loves you, if Hamilton loves you, by default, me and Harmony love you. Because
I'm a testament to that, and it also brings in the metaphysics.
How dare you?
Because when I got in his group, all I was a singer. Well, I played violin. We were in the same music class too. But that's all I was. But then watching him and what he did, then I was like, well, I want to learn how to play keyboards. He showed me 2 chords, C major 7 and C minor 7. You know harmonies. Don't come back to me until we're done.
I didn't say it as nice as she's saying it.
It's nice. We come from New York. So if any of you are from New York, back in the day, lay out. You don't want to hear
Get your shit right or lay out.
Well, what year did you guys leave New York? Because I grew up in Brooklyn and I left and went to LA myself as well in 1980. But what year did you guys leave?
1980. No, I left the first time in 80. Went to LA.
Yeah.
Motown brought us out, and it was in 81.
Right.
Yeah, 81.
Wow.
So we were there at the same time. So you already know. Yep. Back in the days, our basement band, and we used to rehearse. Listen, we rehearsed like 4 or 5 hours a night, every night, 7 nights a week. You had to come to my rehearsal with a tie. I was trying to be James Brown and shit. If you came down in that rehearsal and your shit wasn't right, I told you to get to stepping. And that was bottom line. But at one point, we were the tightest band in New York. Every group in New York was afraid of us, except there was one band that I was afraid of. That band had a female bass player. Her name is Liz Chisholm. And you can find her on right now on Instagram. And she's still killing. And the name of that band was Jack Sass Band. Jack Sass. That group gave me a little bit of, fear because that group.
Wait a minute.
I mean,
Go ahead.
What part of New York was they out from? Peace and blessings. How y'all doing?
Peace and blessings, my brother. They, you know what's funny? Wait, you probably know this group too. You remember the Bartlett Contemporaries? There were three groups: the Creative Funk, the Bartlett Contemporaries, and Jack Sass. Now there were a lot of bands: Crown Heights Affair, Made in USA, great bands. But these bands that nobody really knew, like
What was that from?
he wasn't in a band. Oh, he was in Change. He was the first before Luther got in. But Jack Sass was the threat to all of us. And we, I was around Tom Brown, all those guys. They were all Lenny White. They were all. Lenny used to come down and rehearse in my basement. And
Lenny White, he was
he was brutal. He brought me.
We did a session. Me and Magic were the only ones that ended up on the project. And
because
he was like,
every one of my band members, he was saying, out, cut, out. And me and Harmony were the only ones that ended up making it.
Was that the one with the kid stuff on it?
Yes, that was that album with Barry Johnson. Remember Barry Johnson was playing bass and Skip Anderson was on keys. So before that album even manifested into being a full album, we would go down in his basement, in Lenny White's basement, and mess with his recording equipment and learn how to do it. And back then I thought 29 was old. It's funny how you learn things as you go. 29, the age 29 seemed old to me. And I was like 18, I guess, at the time. So I remember once asking him, why is your group called 29? He said, it's just a number. I said, yeah, but what does that mean? And he didn't like that. So he said, it's just a number. And and then I realized, okay, he don't want to tell me he's 29. Later I found out he's 29. When I think about that now, it's like a fucking baby, but that's what I thought. And he lived right across the street from me and I didn't know it. I moved out of that house and found out later that he lived right across the street from me. So me and Bernard Wright and all of us used to hang out and go to Lenny's house. Harmony came with me several times, and then he fell in love with her ability to sing harmonies. At that time, she wasn't playing an instrument, but we would go down there and bust out vocals and just kill. I mean, me and Harmony can bust in the harmonies on the spot in front of anybody, anywhere, anytime. We sing, if we had a restaurant and somebody's birthday's going, we take over the damn song. We kick in and do harmonies, and then people turn around, they forgot whose birthday it is. I mean,
hey man, I got a birthday coming up next month, bro. So I'm gonna be looking for y'all.
All right, I tell you right now, I'll get on top of Mount Everest and sing it to you, bro. Hey, we'll get all three of us.
What part of New York you say you was from?
I'm from Jamaica, Queens.
Where about Jamaica, Queens? I was born in LaGuardia Hospital.
I was born in
Southside Jamaica.
Queens General. Hey, look, I lived in Southside on 143rd Street and 115th Avenue, right by.
I lived on 148th.
You remember Ajax Park then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Ajax.
I used to play out in the waterworks.
Yes. You remember Shima? You remember junior high school Shima? It was on. It was on Linden Boulevard and 143rd Street. It was
okay because I left from there and went to Brooklyn, then out to Long Island. So.
Oh, okay.
That's my old
what school did you go to?
I went out to Nassau in Freeport High School in Long Island.
Oh, so you went to where money was. See, I wish I was trying to get to.
You can say that.
Well, for us. Now, when I go back now, I go, I thought that was okay. Well, I was wrong.
Hold on. Magic done told it. Hold on, Kid Wise. You don't say nothing. So Magic, what you telling me is all that stuff you've been talking about. He get it out the mud. He had a hard life. It's not true.
No, he did. He just went to school where, like, for instance, at one point I went to.
They had books at his school. That's what you're trying to tell me. Okay.
I went to Flushing. You remember John Bowne High School? It was in Flushing.
Yeah.
Okay, me and Bernard Wright went to Campbell Junior High School, which was right next to John Bowne, and I went to PS 49, which was next to that, which is elementary school. So I was bussed out to the areas where people ate every day, but I didn't live in an area where people ate every day. In fact, that's when I met Harmony. I was so poor that I would go to her house, and remember the product called Steakums back in the day? Those real thin sliced Steakums. Mm-hmm. Well, I used to go to Harmony's house because she would eat every day. See, we ate whenever we fucking ate. Harmony ate every day. So I'd go to her house and she would fry up these Steakums and then she would feed me. And then her mom would come home. Her mother was a nurse, and she would come in the house and go, "Who ate up all the steakums?" And I go, "All right, Deuces, I'm out." And I cut out of it. We laugh about it now. And her mother came to live with us for a little while, and I tell her I'm trying to make up for all the steakums I ate. But I mean, I wasn't poor. I was poor. I was missing the O and the R at the end of the word. But you know, I'm glad for the experience. I literally feel blessed that I had that experience, because some of my friends that I know that had everything growing up, you know, it didn't make them any happier. Some of them are happy now still. I mean, they've learned to be happy, but I don't want to say they were worse off than me, because that's not fair. But what I am saying is that the things that I learned, they would never have learned, because we learned that when you grow up in the hood the way we did, you learn how to make anything from anything. You learn how to make fucking toys out of the toilet paper roll. You make yourself out of a telescope from the damn paper towel rolls, if you had paper towels. I mean, we figured out ways to do things. Black people in the hood are the most ingenuitous people on the planet, because they figure out how to do everything from nothing, which is why the hip hop revolution happened, because they needed to figure out a way to voice what they felt constructively. They needed to do it constructively, because they knew that it was a dead-end street to just hang on the streets and drink beers and rob people and shit. They knew that was a dead end. So they had to figure out a way. And they turned the whole world around and changed it by going, we don't need a record company. We're going to figure this shit out on our own. And so to me, the most innovative, I mean, I'm an R&B singer, jazz singer, all that shit, but the most innovative music business people are hip hop, because they said, fuck record companies. I'm going to do this on my own. I'm going to figure out a way to get my product to the people, and the people bought it. And not only did the people in the hood buy it, but they turned the whole white Aryan race into being hip hop lovers. That's powerful. So I got to give kudos to them for that. I'm sorry, I'm talking to them. You want to say something?
I think it's ironic that
you stepped right up in my lane. I'm a hip hop productionist, and it's a very honor and respectful matter to meet the both of you, the magic that y'all created for the Whispers, because my father made me a fan of them, and my mother as well. And the magical names that you're saying, Bernard Wright, Tom Brown, my father made me a fan of them as well. And I have to also infiltrate this conversation because
what's up?
Flatbush, Brooklyn.
All right.
Church Ave, Veronica, behind Erasmus High School. Yes,
that's myself. I'm on TV today.
Really?
Hello?
I'm on the show.
Oh, somebody
interfered. Yes, but when you were speaking about the creativity from nothing, that's where I came from. That's how I got into hip hop, and it all derived from listening to the records that my parents played. So I understand where you're coming from that, and I respect that. I'm glad you made that comment.
Well, I want to tell you how much I honor and respect you for actually giving the props, because, you know, that's the one thing. Like we were doing Mike Epps' wedding, and Snoop was the entire show. He was in front of the stage singing every lyric. Now, I couldn't hear him to know whether he was in key or not, but he was on the edge of the stage singing every lyric and giving the most unbelievable props. And I love that. It made me have a new respect for him, because the one thing we can't do as a community, and this is where one thing I give our Aryan brothers and sisters credit for this. When they love you till you are fucking dead. Look at the Grateful Dead, or look at and they ought to be, well, that's another story. Anyway, let's look at the Rolling Stones, Kiss, all of these groups. Those people love them till the end. We got to support our artists the same way. We can't just forget about the people that laid the tracks before us. Like in my case, the people that came before me were like the Whispers. They were the Whispers, and before them, there was the Drifters and the Platters, and that's who the Whispers listened to, and the OJs and all that. So you gotta honor the people that laid the tracks down for you. You can't forget them and act like they're no longer important. It's just unfair, and it comes back to you. The law of karma is the real truth. So you can't, and I honor you, brother, and all of you on the panel, because the fact, some of y'all may not have even been born when the Whispers started. I don't know if we were born when they started. No, we weren't. But the point is you always honor and respect those people, just like I do the hip hoppers. I understand what they did. They made it better for us. You know, the whole thing is an even exchange.
They've made us get stronger.
They help.
You're right. We don't need.
And they brought us back. They brought us back into the forefront because they're honoring, they're taking and sampling. Like when I had a radio show in Austin, and this kid called in and said, and I don't mean to call him a kid disrespectfully, but I'm saying in terms of their age. And they said to me, yeah, could you play that record that Keith Sweat made, Watching You? And so we having a conversation. I said, Keith Sweat didn't make that record initially. Right. And they said, yeah, and they were kind of trying to get into a debate with me. And I respectfully said, listen, the songs that you think are originally by an artist, you should understand where it came from. A group called Slave made that record. So now, here, years later, up to last year, literally last year, I released a Christmas single on Love Unlimited. Now, I'm sure maybe y'all know who Love Unlimited is. That's Barry White's. Okay.
Barry
so I'm
White.
doing this year, the whole album will be out. But last year, we released Favorite Things. So we put it out on YouTube. And this person got on there. Clearly, they had to be a kid because they were trying to troll and say all of this negative shit. And they were saying, you know, these people stole Ariana Grande's song. I never said anything negative. I didn't have to because everybody on that page lit her ass up and said, what? Favorite Things was around before Love Unlimited was even born. That song came from a movie called The Sound of Music. It isn't even a Christmas song. But see, the thing about you, I love, brother, is that you're clapping because you understand that. A lot of people think hip-hoppers don't research. They understand. Sometimes they know more than the damn R&B artists that made the fucking song because they research. And the reason they research is because if they're going to cut the song, they want to know where it came from. And so that's why I honor hip-hoppers because they're bringing us to another level. The only thing I would encourage any hip-hopper or any young artist to do is to honor the people that came before you. Because if we forget them, if we don't honor those elders that came before us, then we're wiping away a part of our history. And that's something we need to learn from our Caucasian brothers and sisters because they honor them until they are dust. And
Can
I add on to that comment real fast and real quick? The reason why the hip hop productionists and artists dealing back with our time, you got to remember, the first thing we did when our parents played the records, we picked up the albums and we read them. We read the inside and outside. And then when CDs came out, the cassette tapes, that's how we knew. We wanted to know everything about that artist and what they represented and what we loved about them. That's why we were so involved in the information part.
I want to pick up on that because I know everybody remembers GQ and they came out with that hit.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? I love those guys.
Blew me away. And they had another name. I mentioned that in my book, in one of my books, that they had a different name before they took on the name GQ. But
yes, and I forgot it.
What blew my mind though was their second single was called I Do Love You. It was a ballad. It slowed the beat down and everything. This is a great song. And how about 20 years later, I find out that was a cover of another group from like the 50s or 60s.
His name was Billy Stewart. It was a fat piano player guy, yeah.
So was the song Standing Ovation. They redid that. That's an old school joint. You know, a lot of it, the culture is very respected because, again, we all came from that time and era, especially like myself growing up around BT Express.
Oh, man.
You know, I don't know if you remember the female artist when she wrote Shannon.
Oh, yes.
Let the music play.
Yes.
Okay. Her keyboardist's name is Curtis Joseph. He used to go to my church when we were small. He was the keyboard artist who helped write that song and he arranged the music for it and everything. So I'll go back. D-Train. I remember D-Train coming around and everything like that. So, you know, the New York era of music was just highly explosive.
Crazy. I went to junior high school with D-Train.
Yeah. Okay.
You're talking about Bobby Humphrey.
Bobby Humphrey.
Remember
Bobby Humphrey. Flute, man.
Flute, yeah.
You remember, okay, there was Crown Heights Affair, of course, and there was a group called Made in USA out of New York. But a lot of great, incredible talent came out of the hoods that we all grew up in. I mean, and then, all of the hoods, when you consider Ohio, how much incredible music came out of Ohio, Dayton, Cincinnati, the OJs, or Philadelphia. Some of my heroes, production heroes, is Gamble and Huff. I mean, we had some incredible artists that came out and changed the world. I mean, Mick Jagger, I give him respect because him and Rod Stewart said every single thing they ever learned musically came from black artists. That came out of their mouth. So, I mean, I give them props because at least, see, that's the thing I love about musicians. Generally, racism doesn't really exist that much between bands and music. Like, I walk up to a member of KISS and they respect me like I'm like, you know, like anybody else. It's outside, it's the business part that maybe that exists. But in terms of artists themselves and producers, you either like somebody's shit or you don't. You don't hate them because of the color of their skin or nothing else. You either go, their shit's jamming or it's whack, one way or the other. And that's kind of cool because it's fair. You either like it or you don't, and that's okay. I love that we come from, I mean, all of you understand all of these groups that really shaped our way, like, and then Solar Records, I mean, you know, Dynasty, Shalimar, all of these incredible groups that came out back in the day. And all these black groups that literally changed the face of the music industry, from Nile Rodgers and Chic to anybody else you can think about, to Sky. Remember Sky? I mean,
oh my God. Did you see? I was sitting there in tears when I saw that Unsung on Sky. I went to school in Brooklyn, PS 289, with a group called the Amplifiers. 20, 30 years later, they become full force, and I was working for Sony Music, well, CBS Records, and Columbia Records signed them, and now we're all reunited when they came to visit Atlanta.
Yes. Are you in Atlanta?
Huh?
Who's in Atlanta? All right. Okay, good. We got to all hook up at some point and do some music. You know, my group, Me and My Friends, the reason I named that title, Me and My Friends, is because I didn't, you know, I come from a group called Unified Tribe, and before that Magic Eye, and before that BAM, and, you know, Shades. We had all these names, right? So the group Me and My Friends is titled that because I wanted to do a project that was more inclusive. I wanted to bring people together of like mind and consciousness to do some positive things and positive music. So I'm gonna have Gerald Albright, the Whispers are gonna be on this project. I'd love for you guys to get on and join and be a part of a song or so, whatever. But Me and My Friends,
It's you, Hamilton.
Well, Me is also Hamilton. It's anybody. It's just the word me and my friends, and we all are friends and family. So I really want to do an inclusive project and kind of do something where I include some other people outside of my influence, because I love me, but sometimes I get tired of the sound of my own voice. And, you know, I love to hear other people's expression and how they would interpret something musically. And
hey, Magic.
You know, yes, sir.
I hate to interrupt you, but
I love it, man. Do that, because I'm from radio. I'll keep talking.
I'm feeling both of y'all energy through the screen. Y'all got me so hyped right now. It's incredible. Because all the names of the musicians and the groups that you mentioned, sometimes I feel like I'm by myself because I can't have this conversation with anyone in this generation. But y'all have brought back so many names, and it just brings back so many memories. It's incredible. You know what I'm saying? Like when you were saying earlier, you let you manifest your creativity into existence. Where I'm from back in the day in Brooklyn, we call that manifesting your knowledge being born. That's right. The way I look at it. You know? That's right. I come from the nation from back in the day. So.
Absolutely. I know exactly. You don't need to tell me nothing. I know, brother. I know. I know, man. I absolutely know. I mean, man, you just hit my heart right there, because that's like, I grew up in that, man.
It's grounding. And again, these are the kind of things that remind us of where we are, where we've come from, where we're going, and how many people that we can still influence. And because now this conversation is going to spread like wow.
True indeed.
I'm excited.
DJ Strong.
I've got actually it's a question about 2 songs that the Whispers were involved with. And I want to see if you guys had anything to do with it as well. Now, like I said, I grew up listening to every song from the Whispers since the 70s, but 2 of them kind of were on left field. And I still enjoyed them, but I know there's got to be a story behind them. The first song was Lost and Turned Out, and the second song is Just a Memory with Carrie Lucas when, you know, back in the Solar days. Did you guys have anything to do with those songs?
No, other than playing them live, no. But listen, Lost and Turned Out, that song was a true story about a young female that, you know, became a prostitute.
The writer's
and the writer's niece or something. Yeah. And they were trying to tell a story about what she was going through, because back in the day when we were all kids, pimps would take a female and she would never be the same anymore. Now women, they're running their own shit now. But the thing is that that was the reality back then. So they wanted to tell a story about it. Now the other song with Carrie Lucas, I once heard a story dealing with somebody's death or something, and that was kind of how that song started or came about. But I don't know really much about it. I love Carrie Lucas' voice and the way she delivered her artistry, but I don't know much about that song. But Lost and Turned Out, I do know, was about a prostitute, and that's all I have to say about that.
It's funny because some songs, they sound great and you dance to them, but there's
until you listen to the lyrics.
Yeah, but there's other songs where that drew from reality.
Like, for instance, there's a song like Philip Bailey was telling us one day. He said, people love Reasons and they do it as a wedding song, and the song is about a one-night affair.
Yeah.
And people are singing the shit about at a wedding. A man is dedicating that to his wife, and because they didn't listen to the lyrics, they don't know what it's actually saying.
Well, that happened to me with Olivia. That's one of my favorite whisper songs. Then I became an adult and I was singing one day and I was like,
wait a minute.
Now the songs that you're writing now, are you pulling from real life experiences, or what's the deal with your songwriting?
The song we have out now, How Long, I wrote that one back in 1983. Actually, I wrote it because there was a Russian missile crisis happening, and I was at Maurice White's house, and I cut the song, and then we went to Reese's house, and I let him hear the song, and it was rock. It was actually a rock song. I mean, it was kind of hard, And because I wanted to get it to Aerosmith or one of those white boys that I knew it would blow up if I did. And Maurice heard the song and said, man, we need to cut this on you guys. So we were like, okay, that's cool. But then we ended up doing some other songs with him, and I kind of didn't cut the song, and I just forgot about it. So literally maybe 7 to 8 months ago, I told Harmony, I said, I'm gonna recut How Long and do something with it. This was before George Floyd, any of that. So I cut the song, but I did it as a EDM house song. And we have that version out too now with the Whispers. But I did the song, and then one day Harmony heard that song and loved it. And one day I decided I'm gonna slow this bitch down and see how it takes. So I was in my studio and I slowed it down, and Harmony walked past the studio and said, "What is that?" I said, "That's How Long." She said, "Damn, that's bumping." So I cut the song, and I'm saying this to say, the song did have meaning to me. It meant something to me because when I wrote it, I was afraid. And Maurice White, I just heard this.
Yeah. I was listening to it the other night. I was like, I like that a lot.
Yeah. So what happened now? Listen to this. Here's a story that nobody knows but you guys. When I first, which again, I'll send all you guys the original video. When I first did the song, I had a Southern white lady saying, "It's time for change." She was on the front of the song. Here's the reason why I did that. Because even white people are tired of this shit. Even white people are tired of this racism shit. They're tired of it. In fact, they're out there protesting as much as black people. So I thought it was appropriate. And I had this white woman saying, "It's time for change." And you'll see that when you see the original video. But then, we love Scotty, and he wanted his granddaughter to say it. So I said, okay, that's cool. He was all respectful, like, man, if you don't mind. And I'm thinking, if I'm giving you the song, it doesn't matter whether I mind. You're doing the song as the artist, so I'm gonna respect what you want. But so I took the person that initially did it, actually it was Vision, Hamilton and Strong, you know who Vision is, and she actually did the voice. But I took her off, and of course she didn't mind, she understood. But she also understood why I did it initially. I thought it was appropriate to have a white person on the front of this song to show that even white people are just tired of it. So now instead we have a little girl that happens to be Scotty's
which is the
granddaughter.
future. I mean, because it is about
which it still works. It still works. But in terms of answering your question, I apologize. I went around the whole fucking neighborhood. But what I'm saying is that when I write songs now, they always have a story. Any song I write, if you listen to it, I can tell you why I wrote it and what it actually means. And yes, it does. It does start its root from something I either experienced or someone told me about. I have a song called Living Without You, and it's on the Whispers Gospel album. Now, initially, again, that was on one of my albums. It was on a Unified Tribe album that we had out called Functional Family.
Yeah.
Functional Family. And the song was about a family member of mine. I was riding with their family, and the father, he was 70-something years old at the time. And I was up front with him, and the girls were all in the back, and they were having their conversation, and me and him were up front talking. And he looked over to me. We were talking about something, and he said, I don't know what he called his wife Mama. He said, I don't know what I'll do if Mama died before me. And the way he said it hit me so deeply emotionally, because I started imagining. And after being with her for 60-something years or whatever it was, and then tears just started rolling down my eyes. I was so moved emotionally by it. So I came home and wrote the song Living Without You. And when you listen to those lyrics, I've done that song at funerals. It's so deep, but it comes from a place of experience. And to me, from my personal experience, the best way to write is from something you actually have experienced. Like, a fat person can't tell me shit about being fat unless they've been fat. You have to know, I'm sorry, I don't mean fat. I mean, a person a weight loss coach. If you don't understand what a struggle is about trying to lose weight, you can't tell me nothing about it. You can't tell me about growing up in Jamaica, New York, or Brooklyn, or Bronx, or LA, Watts. If you've never been there, don't come trying to tell me about it, because you don't know about it. Now, granted, you can teach somebody about anything. That's true, but I'm gonna get more of an effective lesson to me, and I'm only speaking for myself, if I know you've had the experience so you understand. Reason why I'm loving this panel so much is because you guys understand. You understand music. You understand the root of where things came from. You understand how to pay homage to the people before. You understand the whole life experience and how important it is that music is a language that crosses every spectrum, every boundary, every age group. It doesn't matter, whatever color you are, everybody speaks the language of music. Even if you can't sing or dance, you still feel it. And so I'm really enjoying being with you guys. I'm glad I stopped the session, because I'd much rather be doing this and relating to you guys.
Sparks the creativity as well.
Yeah, I'm on fire. I feel high, and I ain't do shit.
Something that really touched me was.
Hold on, I got you, Kev Wise. Hold on.
One thing that really touched me while you were talking about losing someone, and it really, put an anchor in my heart, because I grew up, and all you guys can attest to it, one of my favorite musicians was George Duke.
Oh, that's my boy. That's my boy.
Let me tell you, man.
Him was like, yeah, man, that's our boy. And that's our boy.
When I wrote my first book, I wanted to get endorsements from people I respected. So I jumped on George Duke's website. I sent him a quick, message. Hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm friends with Full Force and blah, blah, blah. Can you give me an endorsement for my book? And without reading one thing, within an hour, he sent me an endorsement I just told him basically what it was about, and he sent it right to me. But here's the point I'm trying to make. George Duke, I don't know how long he was married for, but I remembered reading about his wife passing away, and 1 year later, he was gone.
Yeah, absolutely. He and that happens a lot when you are so connected to somebody. You can't be around long without them. That's the bottom line. George Duke was an incredible human being. I produced him on a song that I did for Phil Perry, and George Duke came in and he did my keyboard solo. Now, first of all, let me explain something to you. I'm stumbling for words, because I have to explain to you the type person he is. George Duke is so humble. I went to his house. I'm nervous as hell because I'm producing a legend. And I walk in the studio, he tells me sit down, we hang out, we're talking, and I'm just staring at him the whole time thinking, I can't believe, I can't even call myself a keyboard player. And I'm sitting here talking to George Duke. He was the opposite. He was blown away by my keyboard playing. I'm like, wait. I can't even stand in the same room with you. And he's like, no, man, play this. So I'm doing my thing, and we're jamming and talking. Then he's trying to convince me to go to Logic. I'm telling him, nah, I'm using something different. I finally tried to use it and worked with it for a minute, and we joke about that because he was like, man, you got to use that. That's the shit. I'm like, George, get out of here, man. I'm using this other thing. So, because I use Studio One now. So, but I'm saying this to say, George Duke, if you haven't met him, you will see him at some point again. But he was an incredible, incredible spirit that I can't even tell you in words what kind of human being he was. And you know, I offered to pay him for his work on Phil Perry's album. He wouldn't even take the money. He was like, nah, man, you know, I was having fun. I said, man, but I got a budget to do this. He said, man.
You know what? The closest to that is Scotty.
Oh, Scotty's a whole, I don't even want to talk about him. I might start crying and shit.
Scotty is so humble. He's so laid back. And even back in the day, his wife Marilla said that he'd be in the studio and he'd be like, just sit over there, shut up, and let me work. And everything that he does is just off the cuff. It's just whatever he feels in the moment. And he is the most down-to-earth, amazing vocalist, and he's also a musician.
Yeah, people don't know Scotty.
He's a keyboard player.
There was a section of our show where he would get behind an organ and start playing this organ, and it was like bebop, you know, and people would just go crazy. He doesn't want to do it, and we keep telling him, man, come back and do the organ thing, but he won't do it. But it's so nice when you meet people and they're more than you've expected them to be. Like, you know, Sinbad, you know, wonderful human being. I did the Sinbad Summer Jam, and he's just such a nice human being. And Isaac Hayes walked up to me one day, and again, you know, Black Moses, you know, when we were kids, so I'm thinking he's this giant.
Hey, Magic, keep going. Keep going, Magic, keep going.
So I'm thinking, Isaac Hayes, he walks up to me, and he said, man, who did that Whispers album? And I turned around.
You can't say it,
I'm looking for who it was that said it, and I have to look down a little bit. I was like, what? I mean, I thought he was this giant. I mean, he was bigger than life to me, but he wasn't really that short. But he was about probably 5'10".
Look at LA showing you his Isaac Hayes picture.
Oh, man, that's right. And he was such a beautiful brother.
He was a giant. Put it back, LA. He is a giant. Look at LA.
Oh, wow, LA. Wow, LA. He's a beautiful brother, man. Just a great human being. And I love talking to him, you know. The one person I wish I had met that he heard my music and fell in love with it, but I never got a chance to meet him was Barry White. Barry White went nuts over my shit, and I never got a chance. I met him.
Can I tell you my Barry White story?
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead, LA. Go ahead.
Okay, so I had moved from New York to LA, and I know since you were living in LA, you know about VIP Records in Cletus Anderson, right? I got a job at VIP Records on Crenshaw Boulevard, and one day they said we having an in-store, and I said, who? They said Barry White, and sure enough, he came in. I got to meet him, talk to him. Nice guy, just like, man, most of these people are so nice. He was like a big, gentle giant, you know, and here I am looking, and I'm like, that was before I started working, you know, for CBS Records, and I was like, man, I got to be in the record business. This is so cool, you know, but yeah, man, it's just amazing to be in a circle with you, man, because we've run into so many, you know, likewise situations, man. It's just a real honor to be in this room with you.
Well, you know, the thing is, brother, I really know this with all I was going to say believe, but, you know, there's a point where you go beyond belief into the no zone. And I know that we are all connected, not by accident, not by chance. There's some divine direction happening that's bringing us all together for some reason that's bigger than any of us are aware of right now. I'm sure we're going to do something that's going to make a difference to somebody, even if it's only one person. And it might be just me. But I don't believe that we run into each other by accident or things happen just by chance. I don't believe in that shit. I don't believe this is a random occurrence. This is happening for a reason. We all ran in the same circles. We all did. All of us ran in the same circles. Some way or another, we've all been connected to the same people. They say 6 degrees of separation. I think it's less than 6 now. I think it's less than 6 degrees of separation. We all know somebody that's connected somehow. And this to me is the proof that we really are all brothers and sisters. We got the same blood. We all are made of the shit the stars are made of, you know?
Magic, man, that is so profound that you said that, brother. I'm glad that you said that. I'm gonna use that as a snippet for one of our promos. That was awesome.
Let's call it
before
dark.
we go, before call it what?
Let's call it dark matter. We'll leave it at that.
Dark matter. Dark matter matters. Hey, K Wise, I know you've been trying to get something in. What's going on, bro?
I'm just sitting up here. You know what I'm saying? We are actually looking at and hearing. I'm gonna call them the modern day version from Nicholas Ashford and Valerie Simpson to also like they kind of remind me of Yarborough and People sitting down right there together. You know what I'm saying?
Are you going back, brother? I love Yarborough and People.
Yo, I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart, and it's a blessing that we're sharing and vibing everything that we're doing. And it's like, yeah, like Apex said, you taking us back. It's like Minnie Riperton, back down memory lane of so many things.
I agree, 100%.
So, you know, it's truly good, and this is the knowledge that a lot of people are lacking. You know, and to know the history, to know our story is to know the truth and to know the beginning and the ending process that never ends because it keeps beginning it all over again. So music will always be intricate. Music will always be the mathematical equation of life and existence. And as long as music is around, life will be around. And people will not understand until they listen to the lyrical portions to understand the melody. We always hear that beat because Black people, we naturally got a rhythm.
That's right.
But when you start understanding the lyrics and then everything, and I'm gonna tell you one thing that she said when she was talking about Olivia, and she was singing it, not realizing what it meant. That's just like when people was listening to the OJs when they made Brandy, they thinking it was about a woman. But the song was about a dog. It was about his dog that passed.
Yes.
That got lost. Yeah, Brandy. And I had to laugh at that because I was like, exactly. People really don't understand. The song sounds great and everything, you rolling with it. But when you really listen to the lyrics and find out the message, the real message behind that music, you be like, I'll be damned.
Well, you know,
talking about a dog.
You know, the thing is, man, you know, you spoke about history, and it is time for us now to tell our story and not his story, because it's totally changed. When you think about it, you know, we've been told his story, and our story has been completely wiped out. But the fortunate thing now is that our Caucasian brothers and sisters are actually lifting our story up for us too. So it literally is a unified front now of people coming together for allowing us to tell our story, because the bottom line is we don't need permission. We're going to tell our story regardless of what.
Well, I have to give mad props.
And when you think about history of music, a lot of people may not be aware of this, but the first instrument, the reason why Black people are so in tune with drums is because the first instrument that ever existed on the planet was a drum, because they took and hollowed out a tree trunk and put skin over it and was banging on it to try and communicate with God. They thought that was the way to communicate. So they're banging, boom, boom, boom. So innately on a cellular level, Black people are drawn to drums. A Black person could be walking down the street, hear a block party 5 blocks away, and they're gonna start bopping their head to that drum sound because that's the only thing they'll hear. They won't hear the bass guitar, they won't hear the horns, they're gonna hear the drums, which is why we're drawn to drums, because the first instrument that ever existed on the planet Earth was a drum.
Hey, DJ Strong, did you send Magic my book?
No, but Magic.
LA, I was just getting ready to give LA his props. I was just getting ready to do that. I was just about to say, listen, we got our musicologist genius on the panel right there. LA, making sure that our story being told the way he seen what he lived it. So
I think
my book
LA, get it, baby. Pull it up.
I think
get your book. Where your book at, LA? We want to see it.
I'm not at home right now. I'm at the studio. But man, it's like you would read my book. That's exactly what I said was about and another friend, Sir Rod Patterson, who worked with So Def, he said the first text message sent was by drum.
Wow.
Yes.
Absolutely. See, the reason why we all know this is because we know it. You know, like I said, you move out of the belief zone and you go into the know zone. No one needs to tell us this because it's engraved in the fabric of our heart. We know this.
Well,
mine.
Thank you, Apex. Perfect. You know what I mean? Before we go any further, Magic, because I know we're on limited time with you, and I want to thank you once again, you and Harmony, for you know, spending this time with us tonight. I'm not trying to get rid of y'all. I just know we got some work to do. So, you know, real briefly before we get up out of here, the thing about the drum is real significance, because what I figured out today, just, you know, doing my own little research, is that the only music is silence. The drum is what interrupts that silence with tone and sound. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, this is getting back to the metaphysics of music, which is one of our subtopics today.
Don't get me started because we're going to be here for 5 hours.
Listen, man, I just wanted to throw that out there. And then I wanted to introduce, we got a new panel member, AD. AD, you with us tonight, man?
I am. Let me tell you guys, man, I'm just a kid from Cincinnati, Ohio. And as you guys mentioned earlier about, you know, those sounds that came from there, I was a classmate of L.A. Reid's, man. We graduated from Hughes High School together, and of course I followed his career and everything. But just to sit here and listen to what I'm hearing tonight, man, you know, I'm drawing the tears myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel you. We remember those names, that history, Motown, all those guys that did all those wonderful things for our culture. Marvin Gaye, who spoke to our people. That song, What's Going On, is still relevant right now today. And I performed that song with that dude, Duce, that sit up under here. You know, we in a band together. But it's just wonderful to hear this tonight. My kids are downstairs watching Mulan. I was supposed to be down there sitting there watching it with them, but I prefer this over all of that. But thank you for inviting me in, DJ Strong. This has been incredible. I thank you so much, you guys, and thank you, Harmony and Magic. This is awesome, man. You guys are incredible.
Thank you so much for coming. And I just want to say, being the only woman in the group, how much it has just, my whole journey has been such an honor to be within this. And coming from, I was talking to my brother who was also in our group for many years, and we were just patting each other on the back. He actually started, he said, I got to pat us on the back, because we come from, all three, it was me, Magic, Star, and Falcon. And back in the day, when you were doing background, the background
we
section,
were the sampler.
whoever messed up, then we have to start over. So everybody, when we were doubling and double. So everything before machines, we were the ones. You had to know, just like back in the day, you had to know how to dance, sing, play, and everybody was on it. And you were only as strong as your weakest person, which that wasn't the case underneath Magic's leadership. And so I just pay homage, and I'm always doing this to him, and he doesn't like it, but I'm the musician and the tech that I am today from following his leadership. And I was one of the few members of the band. We had a music teacher from our flute player. And she told us, she sat us all down, and she said, this man, he is music. She said, and I can teach you how to get where he is. And me and three other of the ladies started, they fell off, and I continued on. And then I got onto the technical side, because that's just part of my personality. What are you doing here? How do you click that? How do you push this? How do you push that? So then how I ended up with the Whispers, as soon as we would get on the stage, I'd go to the tech at the time, Reggie, was like, can I help you? What can I do? What can I do? And so I learned from him. I learned from Magic. And then
she was doing it for my band for years, but the Whispers have a whole new format it's of how they do it.
Thing. But so, all the technical things that Magic learned, all the different music programs, I just sat behind him and watched. And then I learned how to do it. And then we each have our own style.
And in 54 years, she's the first female to ever get in the Whispers group. They never had a female. And, you know, the interesting thing is anybody.
Well, hey, I'm gonna give you a round of applause for that.
Yes, absolutely.
We call her she's like the hidden figure, because most people have no idea that Harmony is the liaison between all of us in the band and the Whispers and the sound people. So she has one mic that she's singing in, and then she has another mic that she's talking to the sound people. So while she's singing, whatever she's singing, and the beat goes on, Scotty needs more snare drum.
I've been that guy on the other end of that mic. So Harmony, much respect. I know what that's about. That's a lot of pressure for the dude on the other end.
I always tell people they have no idea. Without Harmony, that show would stop.
And it's funny. It's funny. When you see the performance that I've seen of the Whispers live, that person you call Harmony is moving from the time the music starts until the people are walking off the stage. She doesn't stop. And she's not standing with her knees down going, she's moving and it's like nothing. I've never seen anything like it.
Shit, I pulled the muscle just looking at her.
The maestro.
Hey, let me ask y'all a question, because yeah, I'm from that engineering background too. I've been engineering since I guess the 80s. First studio I started working out of when I moved to Atlanta was Haywood's Recording Studio, a little 8-track analog down on Martin Luther King Drive. But I just said that to say I've been, engineering for a long, long time. But within that period of time, once I hit the record button, there was probably maybe 3 or less artists of all the people I've recorded since the 80s till now that have done a song in one take. So I want to see, have you guys ever had an experience where you guys were recording or did a track or recorded someone else and you were able to catch it in one take? Because back in the 60s, there was no punch in and overdub. They had to do it in one take, So have you guys had that experience where you've been able to record anybody in one take?
I do it all the time. I do it, well, myself, but I don't count me because I record myself. So, I mean, I just go. Harmony does it all the time when I'm cutting her stuff. Because a lot of times I'll go into record and they don't know I'm in record. Like Scotty and Walter will have no idea that I'm in record. I'll just go, I'm checking your levels, go ahead. And they'll do their shit. And then they'll finish and I'll start editing and they'll go, when we're going to do it? I go, oh, I got you already. And then they just trip out. Every album I've done on them, it's usually the first take that I ended up keeping.
That sound like Duce up there. Duce is good for that. He
The same thing with
walk in the studio.
Yeah, and Love Unlimited the same way. I take Gloating White and they get in there, we're kind of chilling. It's amazing. I'm sitting in my pajamas and we're all kind of just chilling, sitting around. And I'll go, let's mess around with the song. And I'll play the track and her and her sister Linda would come and sing. And I'm thinking, damn, how am I going to get Linda off of this track?
Yes, because the way I just cut him off, they sit like this close to each other when they're singing, and they'll be looking, and it is the most incredible, because they're one of my favorite vocalists, Love Unlimited. And to watch them in effect, after all these years of not recording together, they sit and they look at each other when they're singing, and then the mic is just right there, and it's unbelievable.
And what's really amazing is that they're terrified. And I go, what? I mean, with all the millions of people you play, and they are terrified, and they're scared looking at me like, because I'm the producer. I'm like, you girls, I mean, it just blows my mind because I'm thinking, all of us on this panel grew up listening to them and knowing who they are, and they're terrified of me. And now they only want to work with me because I make them so comfortable in the studio, because here's the secret. It's not that I make them so comfortable. It's that they don't know when they're singing. They don't know when I'm recording. They're just singing and I'm recording their asses and then I just put it in there. So that's why they're comfortable. I'm sure if they knew I was recording them, they wouldn't be that comfortable with me. But it's just a really beautiful thing when you record some of your heroes you grew up listening to and you watching them and you're trying to be a producer, but you're a fan. At the same time, I'm all brutally eyed thinking, I'm sitting in here and she gets on the phone and is talking to Barack Obama and I'm just sitting there in the studio going, wow. I mean, it's a trip coming from, where I come from in New York. And all of the things that, getting back to the metaphysical thing, the reason why I always say music is a spiritual thing, and beyond that, just us living and breathing is spiritual. You don't have to, it's not about going to a church or getting the message from somebody else, because the true church is within you. You are the temple. And so when it comes to music or anything in my life, we've manifested those things by the way we think. Me and Harmony used to, as teenagers, put things on our wall of what we wanted to experience. Put pictures of JAL Airlines, and then we ended up in Japan. Put pictures of Johnny Carson show, we ended up on Jay Leno and Arsenio. All of those things that we wanted to see, we had to first see them before they would manifest. It's not, I'll believe it when I see it. It's, I'll see it, and then I'll believe it. So you have to see it first. You have to be able to see it and feel it as if it's happening.
Well,
And that's hard to do. I'm not saying I'm a master at this shit because it's hard, especially in the world we live in today. But you have to practice it. It's like anything else. You practice it and you become better. So we practice manifesting what we want to see. Like our kitchen just won an award and Hamilton actually did all the wiring in this kitchen. And we won this award.
My business out there, they might want me to come to their kitchen.
And they should.
I've seen that kitchen before and after. So
you saw it before and after.
I want them to come to my basement.
By watching pictures and watching shows and talking about it, and me, Harmony, and Vision decided we were going to do it. And the very thing that we drew in our mind, Vision had it drawn on paper, and then now we're sitting in it. So I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it doesn't matter what it is you want to do. If you breathe air and you bleed red, you can manifest that, but you have to move out of the believe zone and go into the know zone. Most people don't get that. But until you go into the know zone, and when you know that this is yours, it's your birthright, your divine birthright to have whatever it is you want. None of us were put here to fail. People choose that as an option. Fuck that. I'm not choosing failure as an option. The only thing I need to do is win and stay in my lane. If I stay in my lane, I'll get where I'm trying to go.
And that's interesting. You said going back to what DJ Strong, what you said about writing. A lot of times magic will come with a title. So I actually have to see things as a movie, and then I write down what I see. But sometimes, like you'll go fight.
Pardon, magic. You just basically described the spark of divinity. That's what you just described, and you didn't realize it. Because that's what we are. We spark.
Oh, I definitely realize it. I know y'all know. That's why I can talk
mentally as well as physically.
I know that y'all know. That's why I'm very comfortable talking to all of y'all, because I can feel that we have an even exchange of energy. We all know. We all are in the know zone. We know. You know, of course, there's always something new to know, but you know as you go. As you go, you know. And even like Vision, you know, Hamilton, you and Strong both know Vision. I'm gonna pull her in front of the camera in a minute. Vision, now here's a great story out. Please bear with me, brothers. I'm gonna try and make it quick as I can. I know I go on, but I'm making a point. Vision, when she came into our lives 29 years ago or so, I had this song that I put out in LA during the first Gulf War. It was a song called I'm Coming Home. I cut the song. I didn't think one way or another about it. And then Vision kept bugging the shit out of me, telling me, you guys need to do something with the song. You need to do something with the song. I didn't think one way or another about the song. This little white lady telling me, that's my family, you need to do this song. And I'm thinking, you don't know this business. You don't know this, and especially in the Black community in the business, you don't know. And you don't know Baby D. Yeah, right. So I said, well, here, take the tape. If you want to do something with it, do it. She took my tape, a cassette. That's how far back we're going, because that's all we could afford to print up was a cassette. We couldn't do CDs and none of that shit. They weren't even out yet, CDs. So she took the cassette and went to the Beat, the radio station, the Beat, KKBT. And she went down there, walked in there, and tried to convince the program. They were so impressed with her, this little white lady walking into this Black station, talking about, you guys need to play this song, that they played the song. The song ended up becoming the number one song in the top 8 at 8. And the only thing that ended up beating us out for a week was Color Me Bad song, I Want to Sex You Up, because it was about sex. And of course, that's going to beat it out. I get it.
And I have to make this connection, Magic, because I got my man, Godfather X is in the building. What up, X? Me and him were signed to, I forgot the name of the company, X, Bad City Management, which was bad all around.
Bad City Records.
Bad City Records, and we went up to, we worked exclusively with Royale Bayan. He was the producer for Color Me Bad. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
That's that connection.
T-Neck, New Jersey.
Yeah, T-Neck, New Jersey. So we were on the same label that they were coming out, and we recorded in the same studio where they recorded all the ears.
So that was in T-Neck? I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, we didn't live there, but we went there to record. That's
what I'm saying. I didn't know that label was in T-Neck.
Oh yeah, out of T-Neck, New Jersey. Yep.
See, now we were on BMG. Now before we got on BMG, which Vision is responsible, because she hand drew our cover by hand. She did the cover, and we had a soldier that was on the front lines of the war. We ended up getting a letter from him that he was writing to his girl, and I spoke the letter over the song. So Vision, it was responsible for that. We end up selling so many cassettes on our own without a label that Howard Hewitt, we ended up being Howard Hewitt's band. And he said, well, I'm going to take it to BMG and see if I can get you all a deal. Well, he went and got us a deal, and we ended up on BMG for a while. And that's, you know, I'm glad we ended up away from that, but it was good experience. I was glad we did it. But, you know, we thought, oh, we're on a major label. Yay. And then we were like, fuck, we're off the major label. Yay. You know, because I mean, it was just, you know, we had more power being independent. But I brought the story up to say that Vision single-handedly, I could say, if it wasn't for her, we may not be having this conversation, because she is what pushed us into the actual business. We were
her name suits her.
We were a great band, but she actually, her belief and faith, her knowingness, she put the nose on and didn't even know. That's why we call it Vision. She had a vision of what this could be. And there's another story about a label called Scepter Records. It was a little white housewife. And she ended up being responsible for Otis Redding, Curtis Mayfield, all of these black acts, because they were in Memphis and bringing their music to her. And she just loved the music, but all she did was sit at home and bake cookies and shit while her husband went to work. And he thought, you know, you're dealing with all these black people, whatever, trying to help them. Yeah, she helped them. She started a label called Scepter Records. And the reason we know who those artists are is because of this white, unassuming little short lady that believes so much in them that she took her own money that her husband was out there making, started this label, put them out, and then sold the record company to a big label, which ended up being Stax Records and all of those. You know, so, I mean, I said all of that to say, I know I went, again, around the whole damn country, but I'm only bringing that point up to say that when you go into the no zone, even when you don't know you're walking in that area, like Vision had no clue that she was in the no zone, but she believed so deep that even while I was annoyed, she made something happen for me. And then I felt like an asshole, because after I'm complaining that she's getting on my nerves, without her, we wouldn't be having this conversation, because y'all wouldn't know who I am, because each step led to another. I ended up meeting, you know, from Howard Hewitt, we went on tour, and then I met Dynasty's founder, Kevin Spencer, and he led me to the Whispers. And every little thing leads you someplace, because we're all a part of this incredible universal puzzle, and everybody's part is important. Without that one piece, you can't finish the puzzle. So this is why I say we're made of we're what stars are made of, all of us, and we all are divine. And it is really no such thing as race. I mean, that whole thing was made up. The bottom line is we're all human beings bleeding the same blood. If you take us and flip our skin inside out, everybody's red. Then we'll find a new reason to hate each other.
Turn the lights out. We can't see us. Right. We can all still communicate.
Right. So, I mean, we all are connected, and we all have dreams, and those dreams can be manifested into reality as soon as we step out of the weaker belief zone and walk into the no zone. And I try and encourage people to do that and see what it feels like. Again, I'm no master at it, but I know it's true. I know it exists. I know energy is real. I mean, we can't see bad breath or farts, but we know they're real. When we're in the presence of it, we know it's happening. So the bottom line is energy is real. And when you put something out into the quantum field, it manifests as long as you know that it belongs to you, as long as you know that it's yours. When you know that success is your birthright, it can't help but manifest. It's against the law for it not to. We always end up getting in our own way. And that's why some of us, we choose failure as an option, but it's really not our divine birthright. Our divine birthright is to win. And there's enough at the top for everybody. Actually, the truth is the bottom is what's crowded. The top is pretty empty. So we all need to just go into the no zone and know that everything we want. If you want to be the greatest shit shoveler in the world, just keep knowing that that's what you want to do, and you'll become the best shit shoveler in the world. If you want to be the best skier or the best car driver, or you want to manifest a new type of cellular phone that you blink at, whatever it is, every one of us in this room right now has the ability. All we have to do is a couple things. One is figure out what it is we want. You got to be real clear with this universal thing. What is it that you want? Because if you don't know what you want, how the fuck is anybody else supposed to know? How's the creative force? How's the creator supposed to know? How's the divine one? How's the divine force, spirit, whatever you want to call it? How would it know if you don't know? First of all, you got to know that you're a part of that force. We got to know that we are from that. And as some people say, I and God are one. We are one force. We're part of it. And the only reason we don't manifest what we want, all the things I'm saying are the shit that I need to learn for myself. I'm trying to live up to this. But I love sharing it with you guys because I know you all know it. I'm not telling, first of all, I'm not capable of telling y'all anything you don't know already. The only thing we're doing is reigniting old memories. We all know this stuff.
Exchanging information.
That's all we're doing, just exchanging information and having a good time and fellowship because we're talking about it. But I don't, it is nothing I know that y'all don't already know. But you might remind me of something that I might have forgotten.
But this is good. You know, this is good for our viewers and our listeners out there because a lot of people don't know magic, and we assume that people do know. It's hard to imagine that people just don't know the truth that is out here sometimes.
Oh, I thought that this conversation was just us. I had no idea this was gonna go to other people.
Oh man, this is. You know, anytime I enter, you know, our Lyvation conversation, I always come in as a student. You understand what I'm saying? Because I have so many things to learn about myself and for myself, for my brothers and sisters that come in and have these conversations with us. We're in a universe. You know, this is our university, and the key word is universe.
Yes. That
encompasses everything, and the universe is within us. You know what I mean?
I see you, LA.
Go ahead, LA. You had something you want to say?
No, he was showing you the universe.
Oh yeah, but then again, I don't know what planet he's on, so we gonna leave that one alone. But hey, Duce, I know Duce, you a fellow musician, man. You want to add something on real quick?
Duce.
Hey, Harmony and Magic. It was a pleasure listening to such a wonderful conversation and your explanation for metaphysical. The way things happen is amazing. I'd like to give a shout out to my homeboys in the panel. You know, also, this is the Lyvation conversation, and we all about you know, solutions. And we don't bring problems to the screen. We bring solutions.
I love it.
As far as music is concerned, which is my main, you know, I listen to all the, you know, the happy memories and everything. And yes, I have my own too. Do they really matter to anyone else but myself? Probably not, because it can be perceived as bragging and to a lot of people. In this conversation, it's not. It's connection. And the only thing that I believe is keeping us all separated is the pace of success and the road that we take to reach that success. I'm a musician, you know, I believe I'm a musician. Okay. And like you said, and you know, I'm not the best musician, but I don't for their skill and what they instrument, or I just say they do it different, you know, do it at a speed that you are able to do it at, but I'm able to do it nonetheless. As we go back to earlier in the conversation, we say the one take wonders. I'm kind of that guy, because some things happen, you can't plan it. And when you start planning it and you start messing with it, you actually mess up the original intent. And that's really important to songwriters. Stick with your original intent, because it really screws up the end product. Just like you revisiting a song from 1980, I know you had some apprehension about it, and you were a bit starstruck that someone of such stature took a liking to it. I mean, that's what I got from the conversation. I'm not telling you that's what you did, but that's the way I read it. And I said, you know, we are one hit away from being famous, but famous doesn't make you humble.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It actually takes away, it actually peels away some of the reasons that you are so good at what you do. because now you're starting to believe, like you said, you don't know whether you're smelling a fart or bad breath at this point, because you don't care anymore. And once we lose that instinct, I believe we'll never get ahead. We'll never get past, because I can be platinum in the hood and be happy about that. But, I'm like you said earlier, I'd like to leave a legacy, reach those that never met me, just like you never met Barry White, but you still grab onto his legacy.
Right.
I'm just from a little small town on the south side of Chicago, and I've been exposed to some really so I've been exposed to some real heavy hitters, and my only fascination was, can I jam with you? That's it. It wasn't so I can tell it. I just wanted to know if I can do it. And once you realize we had the basement bands and the garage bands like you did on the south side, and I'm left-handed, and so when I picked up the guitar the first time, I picked it up naturally like Jimi Hendrix would play it. But the guitar player at the time, I was 8 years old, grabbed it and said, "No, little man, this is how you play it." And so that's how I ended up playing it. And I never thought that could have impeded my progress at my skill level, but it didn't, because my skill level was mental. It wasn't physical. Because what if I didn't have any hands? I'd just get you, because you know how to play. I say, I want you to play that. And that's where you are. That's where you are in your journey as a singer, songwriter, musician, instrumentalist, metaphysical philosopher, or whatever you want to call yourself, radio host. But you're very, very wise and articulate in your delivery. And I really didn't want to say anything, because I'm kind of that deep thought person too. And I didn't want to take anything away from what's going on.
Well, I'm glad you did speak.
The opportunity I'm most happy about. Say again?
I said, I'm glad you did speak, brother. I'm really honored that you did speak, because I love people, and I love to be able to hear what somebody's thoughts are, and for them to express themselves, because even twins like Scotty and Walter, they may be identical, but they have different fingerprints. So we all have our own personal expression, and I'm honored to be able to have you share yours with me, because I think that for me, the only time I'll die is when I stop learning. That's what death is to me, is when I stop learning. As long as I'm learning, I'm alive. Whether I'm living in this reality or another one, I'm alive as long as I'm learning. So listening to you speak always, or anybody else, gives me a different way to look at something, and then I feel larger. I feel like I'm growing exponentially, because I'm taking on the energy from you. And like I said, energy is real. So thank you for sharing what you thought and what you feel. I understand.
I did a post. My mom is 86. And I did a post the other day, because I realized that every time that I'm talking to her, I'm actually recording her history. If I don't write it down, I could be the last person to hear a memory. But I was talking about that this morning, and I thought, that's across the board. So like right now, I have insight to every single one of you guys' history right now. Tomorrow is not promised to us. So now I have another insight into how Duce feels, how LA does his thing, how Apex feels, how DJ Strong does, even Hamilton. I mean, I know Hamilton's like my brother, but just watching him with the way he's maneuvering with the mic and everything, and then how he perceives me, how he explained me to others, and so this whole evening has just been so uplifting for me. And again, I can't thank you enough, DJ Strong. I'm so honored to be here.
I love this format. I think you guys do an incredible job. I watched the one with Chris Jasper, and like the other brother said, it's amazing when you look at these people like him and Larry Dunn from Earth, Wind & Fire. You think they're just a keyboard player, and then you find out later they were the backbone of a lot of those big songs that we all listen to. So what you guys are doing of giving a platform, I want to bring the Whispers to you also, Strong, so that you can have them on, because I think
Respect.
You guys are creating power for our community, for the Black community. We need to have our voices heard, and we need to have it heard through our own means. We need to do it ourselves. It may start out to what we think is small, but so does anything else in life. We all start out as a sperm cell and an egg. So I mean, and look at what we grow into. So the bottom line is, it may seem small to some people, but to me, this is huge because we all are connecting and we're reaching out to people. And anybody that sees this and is able to view it will be led here by divine direction. It won't be an accident. They'll come across it however they're supposed to. And that's on one level. On another level, Harmony mentioned Hamilton. Watch Hamilton, because Hamilton will have you buying shit you can't afford. He came over here and got me hooked on the damn VR glasses and all this kind, and then I'm going out buying equipment, things that I don't need. So y'all gotta be careful around Hamilton.
I know.
Hey, I got one last important question I need to ask y'all.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In the business field, since we're talking about business and in the backgrounds of what y'all know of your expertise, those who are trying to come into the industry, what solid advice would you give them to guide them to the right direction instead of being led to the wrong direction, which looks prettier? Because you know how they paint the picture, because everything that glitters ain't gold, because most of us fell victim to the tricks without understanding now, like, wow, if I would have known what I know then, I wouldn't be where I am now, or I would be more aware of. So what solid advice would you give future upcoming artists, producers, techs, anything in that field of your expertise, would you offer them to be solid as a rock for them?
If somebody would give me the time to sit down with them, I guess for me personally, the best advice I would give them is don't look at anybody else. Don't look at other people, because if you spend time trying to be somebody that you're not, you're gonna fail for sure. You will do it for a little while and you can fool a few people, but eventually who you really are will show up. So when I was on BMG, here's a quick anecdote. When I was on BMG, the reason we left that label is because the head of that label was trying to get us to sound like DeBarge. I am not DeBarge. I am me. If I can't be who I am, first of all, the group that you were attracted to initially, that's who I am. If you try and change that person, I tell people this even when it comes to relationships. Don't get with somebody. Harmony always says a lot of women try and do that. Oh, I can change them. No, you cannot. If you don't get with somebody and enjoy who they are and what they are, then don't get with them. And it's the same with this industry. If you want to get in the music business, I would tell a person, please don't listen to what somebody else is doing. Search within your own spirit and find out who you are and offer that, because whatever that thing is, I promise you, whatever it is you are, there's millions of people out of the 7 billion people on this planet. There's a few million that will love exactly what you are. If you try and emulate somebody else, you're only gonna have it for a minute, and eventually whoever you are will show up and you'll crash. I had a conversation once with my friend Greg Jesse, they call him Greedy Greg, and we were talking about DJ Quick. DJ Quick is a great musician. People don't know. DJ Quick is a musician. He plays. He knows how to play instruments. But if he tries to put out what he is because he made it as DJ Quick and made it as a hip hop artist, a rapper, it won't be accepted, because the only thing people know is what he initially put out. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because I know who he is and I love him because of what he does. But what I'm saying is, don't be somebody you're not. That's one of the best pieces of advice I can give a person is, please be true to yourself. Please be authentic. Please be honest, because people want honesty. They want to see your vulnerability. They want to see who you authentically are. And then understand this, it's the music business. And out of those two words, the business is the larger of the two words. The music is the glamour. If you don't understand the business, you will absolutely get raped, period, dot. That's as plain as I can put it. If you don't understand the business part of it, if you don't understand that owning your songs and your publishing is where you get your money from, if you don't understand that, see, a lot of young artists go in and, oh, I'm gonna be famous, they're gonna give me a Lamborghini. No, they will lease you a Lamborghini. And when that term is up, after you've made the record company $80 million, and this is what I try and tell my Black brothers and sisters, because we get we get stimulated by, like you said, things that glitter, shiny toys. We look, oh, it's a nice watch, or a nice new studio, or a nice car. I've watched people there was a group in New York called Rhythms, and their manager bought them. Remember back in the day when they had these coats called snorkels and they had the fur around the hood?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
The bomber jackets.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. So
Yeah, the Bubba Gooses and the bombers.
Exactly. My quarter fill in the closet.
Right. So they had all of this stuff, and they came around. Now, we were boys before they got all of this shit. And then they came around me and they were like, yeah, man, they were still cool, but they were like, well, we stepped up. And they did to me and my band, because they had all new equipment. They had new coats. They were still taking the bus, but they had all that stuff at least. And then here's what happened. When they didn't get the deal that they thought they were going to get, all of that stuff that they were bragging about, the manager repossessed. So that's the same thing happens on a large scale. A lot of these hip hop artists and a lot of these singers that can sing great and do all of this stuff, they get seduced by the look, and they forget that it's the music business. You can even change it to show business. Business will always be the bigger word. And if you don't understand that part of it, and I struggle with that. Thank God I got Harmony, because I'm not an administrative type person. Harmony does all my contracts, everything. And when she sat in there with Nick from the Whispers, the first thing he told us, family's family, I love you, but this is business. So you better make sure you're watching your shit, because I can't watch it for you, and that's true. So what I would encourage young artists that's coming on, or anybody wanting to get into business, brother, let me first of all apologize that I go on like I do. I come from the radio world.
Oh, you good, fam.
So I'm just telling you that back to the point of what advice I would give them, two things, and I'll shut up and let Harmony say her piece. One is, please, I'm begging you. I don't even mind getting on my knees. I'll get on my knees in front of you and show you. I am begging you. Please be authentic. Please be true. Be true to yourself. You owe it to yourself, and you owe it to us, the listening audience, to find out who you are. I don't need you to be Magic. I don't need you to be Usher. I don't need you to be Snoop. I need you to be you, because I already have Snoop. We already have Magic. What are you? That's what I need. I need the authenticity of who you are. Please share that with us, because that's the gift that the Creator gave you that's unique from Magic. Has nothing to do with Magic. We need you. And if you don't give me you, then you're robbing me, in which case, get the stepping. I need you. That's the first piece. The next piece I'd give you, and I'm going to say this until I'm blue in the face. That's going to be a long time, brothers. Listen, understand that it's business first, because where you get your money from is publishing. Just remember that word. Understand these words: marketing, merchandise. Do you understand? Barry White's estate is worth millions because of merchandise. I'm not going to get into the personal part of it, because it's none of my business. But what I do know about it, because I'm very close, Glodine is my family. Merchandise, people don't understand. When we go do these shows with the Whispers, hats, t-shirts, cups, people buy spontaneously. I know some hip hop artists that nobody even know who they are. They make so much money that if I threw their business out there, it'd be dangerous, and I won't do that. But they make so much money off of merchandise. They do a show and they sell hats. People are spontaneous buyers. They will see your show, be, yeah, this is the shit. Where's that hat? And they'll buy your hat. They may never wear the hat again, but they bought the hat. So the bottom line is, understand the business side of it. Merchandise, marketing, business, understand publishing. If your song, I knew some people called the Rembrandts. None of y'all probably know who this group is. Let me just tell you. The Rembrandts.
Rembrandts.
No, the Rembrandts. It's a white
group.
Let me tell you a story. It's a white group. I met them, and they were in an apartment praising me like I was somebody big when I went in. And I was just signed with Reese from Maurice White. But I had no record out, but they were like, oh my God, Magic's in my house, right? We were in the apartment. They had an apartment, and their table was a door with cinder blocks under it. That was their table. They had bean bags for chairs. They were poor. I'm saying that to make a point. I said hi, gave them a little bit of advice, thought, yeah, I did my good deed for the day. Left that apartment. 2 years later, I'm sitting down watching TV, chilling and shit like a villain. And this show comes on called Friends. And the song starts playing, and I'm looking at this at the end of the credits, and it says the Rembrandts. They only did that one song. You never heard from them again. Every single one of them are multimillionaires from that one song. Why? Because of publishing. Because every time that song plays any place in the world, they're getting paid. So I still get royalties from songs I did on the Whispers in 1992. The bottom line is I would encourage anybody, please, please, please. Look, I will give you my number and coach you on this. Please do not overlook business, because if you do that, you have your quick 15 minutes of fame and you shake your ass and look all fat fly and all that's impressive to somebody that knows no better. But I don't need you to know who I am. I want to be able to travel anywhere I want to go in the world. I want to be able to go live the way I want to live because I got paper. I don't need you to know who I am. I don't need to be mobbed when I go in Disneyland or Harry Potter World. None of that matters to me. And in the beginning, that was important to me when I was a kid. I thought, ooh, fame, yeah. Fame don't mean shit. To me, it's a hindrance. It takes what my brother said earlier, Duce, it will take you away from your original intent. And my original intent, I gotta be honest, was because I thought girls would like me if I played guitar. So that's why I started playing guitar. And when I was a kid in the basement, it was true. You know, I'd play a block party and think I was a shit and walk away from I was on the street, it wasn't a stage, but I'd walk over and then the girl would say, oh, he's cute. So I thought I was a shit. I wasn't. But I thought I was. So that was my initial intent. But once I started really, it was such a beautiful spiritual thing to me, that what I felt every time I played in front of people and I made them feel good. I found that the quickest way for me to get away from my own personal demons and my own personal pains and problems was to help other people. And to me, there was no better way to help them than to offer them something to listen to that would lift their spirits. So if you get into it for those reasons, but you still make sure to not overlook the other most important parts, which is the business and the marketing and the merchandise. Because if you don't do this, somebody else is going to make that money off of you for you. And they're not going to give it to you. But they're not going to go. Black artists especially have been ripped off since the beginning of recorded music because they don't understand the business. And all the white boys are rolling around in Rolls Royces that actually belong to them. And they're not leased because they understood or they knew somebody that knew the business. And that's where we as a community have to start to open our eyes and realize that take care of that first and the other stuff will come along. The end, that's my sermon, and I'm sticking to it. Now let Harmony say her point. My shit's always going to be
appreciate you. Appreciate that.
Brother. Thank you.
Pretty much the same. I just actually met a friend of ours' daughter today in the store, and she said, I can't believe I'm running into you because we've been missing each other for like 3 weeks. And she said, my daughter wants to do beats, and she said I was at a loss, and I thought, well, Magic and Harmony can probably help. So same thing. The first thing I said is that you have to do you. Don't let anybody change who you are or convince you because it's so easy. We all have our opinions and things. Second thing was the business. And then the other thing, because I know she's young, I said, learn your social media and learn the benefit of it. I said, likes mean nothing. I said, you have to look, and people are not going to buy your product if they don't know who you are. Because they're going to be like, I don't know you. Why do I want to buy this? So on your social media, that's where you let people know who you are and what you stand for. And so then they're going to want to not only listen to you, they're going to want to buy your product, and then they're going to want to go and support you. And so that's in a nutshell. We were also talking about, because she says she does beats. I said, well, what program are you using? She was like, GarageBand. I said, don't downplay GarageBand. I said, that is a good program.
The song The Wobble was done on GarageBand.
Yeah, I said, hone that. I said, learn everything that you can learn about that. And I told her what program I use as being a programmer. I said, I use Ableton. I said, but you can use whatever program you want, whether it's Logic, whether it's Pro Tools, whatever it is. I said, GarageBand can dump into that.
It's not the
so
software,
just
it's the
hone
producer.
into your craft and be true to who you are and just recognize. This is like show business. This business is not easy. Like for somebody like me, I'm a tech and band. So we get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and have to go to the airport. And when the musicians, the Whispers and the musicians, they go to the hotel. Well, the tech side, we're going straight from, I've been up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm going straight from the airport sometimes to the venue. Stay the whole time. We do sound check and sometimes we don't have time to go back. So I haven't even seen my room until 11 o'clock at night. And so recognize, learn your history of the whole 9 yards. First of all, to see if this is something that you really want to do, and learn your history. Look at somebody that does inspire you. Like I was telling her, I was like New Edition. I said, they're considered old school. I said, shit, so is Snoop. At this point, look at somebody that has gone through a lot and come out the other side. These are the kind of people that you want to look at that can inspire you, that have gone through the blood, sweat, and tears.
And you have to also know the proper way to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You got to spread the peanut butter where the edges. It's got to be all the way. You can't have open pieces of bread and shit.
And if
it's got to be spread
over, you
even.
Can smooth it off with the knife.
You can do that, but if you don't make a proper peanut butter and jelly sandwich, then you're kind of wasting your time.
And I had to learn this. You have to cut diagonal. The straight up and down, it's just not the same.
Yeah, and then you might want to wash that down with a devil dog or something from. I mean,
harmony.
One more thing.
Yes, sir.
I got to add on to the tech part that Harmony was talking about.
Yes,
I can vouch for me. I can vouch for myself and Strong. That's what we do on our side for a living. We don't get to do nothing but stage all through the middle.
Those are the real heroes.
We don't get the extra on the outside. We're there from the beginning to the end. We're the first one there and the last one to leave.
That's why I say those are the real heroes. I tell people all the time, the most underrated people are the people that nobody sees, because people sit around and they watch Bruno Mars or whoever it is, and that's all beautiful. But they don't realize that that show would not be seen for it not be for people like you guys that actually build the stages, run the wires, all the things that the audience never sees. So we give props to our stage hands, everything, because without them, there is no show.
You're right, man.
Who cares who Earth, Wind, and Fire is if you can't hear them? Who cares who they are if you can't see them? Who cares who the Whispers are if you don't know what they're saying, because there's no system, no in-ears, no whatever it is. So you guys are the real heroes that, to me, we could do a whole show on just the people in the back. The real makers of the kings and the queens are the people that actually build the sets. Those are the real kings and queens.
Pardon me.
Ms.
I'm
Harmony.
going to give a round
I
of
got one
applause,
more last question.
personal round of applause real fast to Strong and Harmony and myself.
Oh, LA Jackson be out there doing his thing too.
Yeah.
LA be doing his
Ms.
thing. Deuce be doing his thing too. Everybody out here text on the side.
We ain't talking about y'all. We're not talking about y'all right now. I want to talk to Ms. Harmony. We ain't even worried about y'all.
Strong, when you get there, you and Hamilton, please make sure that everybody on the panel has me and Harmony's numbers.
Oh, for sure.
Address, because I feel a kindred connection with you guys, and I definitely don't want to lose you, because I feel like if the creator was pleasant enough to bring us into each other's lives, I like to find out where the adventure leads and what's the purpose behind all of it. So,
for sure, we'll do.
Hey, do you guys do any, like, y'all read like ebooks and stuff like that?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
You guys like reading ebooks? Electronic forms of books.
When I have a chance, I prefer it over regular books when I have a chance. But to be honest with you, I've been doing 17 hours a day in the studio. I got 2 studios, one upstairs and down. And I'm running 2 different projects at the same time. So I have a friend that wrote a really beautiful book, and she said, "Magic, did you read my book?" And I looked and said, "Well, I read the foreword." And it's not, I love her, but I just really didn't. I mean, I love reading. In fact, that was probably the only thing I passed in school, was reading and lunch. I always passed lunch. I never failed lunch. But
okay, so
I love your book because I love to read it.
I'd like to send it to you, but with you saying that, I don't mind just sending you the 1 page about the drums so you can see how closely it matched what you said.
No, I will respect you because we understand the same language. And if you send me that book, I'll read it.
Yeah.
He's got a coloring book. That's what
I'll have Harmony and Vision read it. Or you can send me a coloring book. Shit, I'll color.
He can send it to you, but you got to stay in the lines.
Y'all too much, man. Y'all got me going, bro.
I will support anything you brothers are doing. Again, I feel a wonderful connection, and all of that is powerful to me. I feel that we have a powerful connection here. So whatever y'all are doing, if there's a way we can support it, whether it's through our social media sites or whatever, I'm going to do that because, and again, like I said, when the Whispers, when we come into town, if we need to record something, I'll probably go to your place, Strong, as opposed to mine, so that I can support what you're doing.
Let's do it.
That's another thing we don't do, is support each other. We need to support each other and stop asking for the damn hookup. Because how are you going to live if I keep asking you to give me a discount? You can't support yourself, and I'm taking food away from your family and off of your plate if I'm going to ask you to cut your price so low that you can't afford to stay in business. Then we wonder why our businesses go out, because we don't support each other. But we'll run over to Walmart and support everybody else. And so to me, I want to support you, and I don't want a discount. I want to do it for, and that's one thing about vision. Hamilton will come over and we tell them, no, we want to pay you what you deserve, because I know you're my brother and I love you, but that's why I want to support you. Because if it's real love, then I should want you to continue to sustain yourself. And I will not be doing that if I'm always asking you for the damn hookup. Sorry, I'm getting passionate, but I'm thinking about how many times people ask me, you're my boy, I thought you were my boy, produce me for free. You know, because they walk in my studio and they see any instrument, whether it's MPCX or Machinas or whatever, I have all those things. So they think, oh, you can afford to do it for free. I can't afford to do it for free. Don't let the hype fool you. I'm a struggling musician doing my best to survive. And I like to recognize that my brothers and sisters are doing the same thing. So to help you do that, I have to support you. The beautiful thing is the universe turns it right back around. If I support you and keep you alive, it comes back to me. I don't have to worry about thinking that you're going to get more than you deserve, because the universe won't allow that. You will get exactly what you deserve, good or bad. So if you're in my life, I want to support you for the good. Everything I get, good and bad, I deserve. It's not happening to me, it's happening for me. I'm learning some kind of lesson from it. I'm getting something from it. And so my deal is to learn the lesson so I don't have to keep being hit over the head with a spiritual 2x4. Get the lesson and then move on. Part of my lesson is support people, and especially in our community. If we don't learn to support each other, then we're just, I can only be doing one of two things. I'm either supporting you or hindering you. It's the only two possibilities. It's the only thing I can do. So my thing is, I want to support you. So the first thing I'm thinking is, if we're cutting something, I don't need to do it here. You know, let's go support Strong and let's do his thing. Or, you know, Duce might have something and say, hey man, I'm doing this. Well, let's support him. Let's create our own coalition to help each other. I want you guys around. I want us to all leave this world when we're ready to, not because we can't survive. It needs to be because we're done. We've done the lesson. We've done the dance. Song is over. We're out. That's when we should be leaving, not prematurely because we can't survive. That's not right for us to do to each other. I don't want to be a part of that equation. I want people to remember me as somebody that supported and helped. I don't know why I'm saying all that, but I guess I needed to.
Yeah, you needed to. Thank you, man.
Spoken truth.
I like to thank you for giving myself a definition of a term you call walking in the no zone. All my life I call it a gift that I have. I know without knowing. It's like I just attribute it to we're all created from the divine creator in his image, from divine truth. So if somebody tells you something you've never met in your life and it's the absolute truth, it resonates something deep within you, and you know it's the truth, undisputed, even without you going to do your own research, or just plant a seed for you to go do research to find out. But certain things you just know, but you don't know how you know it, but you know it. So I thank you for giving me a definition on that, and as well as I look forward to personally meeting you. I've heard about you through Strong and Hamilton as well. I look forward to meeting you. You're a talented musician. If you do happen to grace the studio, could you bring a bass guitar? And also if you have a modulator.
Whatever you need, brother, I got it. I got you. I mean, you know, listen, I told Strong and Hamilton this story. When I first moved out here, the reason I came to Atlanta in particular, I was trying to get here since 1992. And Vision was out here. She has an interior design business. And her and her brother created this incredible business that I'd love to show you guys around at some point when you're in Atlanta. But I came out here because she invited us to come and stay out here because I was tired of where we were and I wanted to change over and just give myself a new birth. So we came out here to Atlanta, and I had all of this stuff that I really didn't need. I love seeing your Fender hat, Duce, because when I was a kid, Ernest Isley was one of my guitar heroes, and I always wanted a Strat, but I couldn't afford it. So I had a little cheap ass Tiesco guitar, but I was killing that shit. And so when I was able to afford a Strat, brother, strong enough to tell you, I got a collection. I had 30 Strats. I gave away a bunch of kids who couldn't afford to buy a Strat because I understood their pain, you know, and it's pain. When you want a Strat and you can't buy that shit, that hurts. So. So now I have 8 left of each. I have 8 Strats and 8 basses. But the reason I kept those is because they're only one of the ones I have on the planet. You'll never see another one ever again like it. There was only one made from the Fender Custom Shop. And the basses I have, they're like, I always feel like these instruments have spirits. They have energy and I can feel them. So I keep those 8 basses. I'm saying that to say, you come over here, man. We can have a jam session. Harmony's got.
I just my father just passed it, so I just acquired my uncle's electric guitar. So I have to start taking lessons to learn how to play it to honor my uncle.
I can get you started, but that's all I can do.
I love the bass. I can't play bass. I started out as a DJ. But I love drums, but I can't play the drums, but I love the congas. I can sort of play the congas, but it's something about a kettle drum I just love. I don't know if it's because you can bend the notes on it or whatever, but.
Brother, can I interject something for you?
Yes, sir.
Quick?
Yes, sir.
And please forgive me, I don't even know why I'm telling this, but I need to. We, as a people, have to do our best to limit how many times we say the word can't, because you are you're a God, man. You can do anything you want to do. All you have to do is decide what you want to do. And like I said, I can start you on guitar. I can't make you drink the water, but I can definitely bring you to it and give you a sip. Then you can take it. If you were here, I would show you I'd start you off and show you. And if you did what I recommended, I can promise you that you will play guitar or bass in a few months if you actually did it. Because
2 chords, and now I'm a keyboard player.
First of all, innately in any Black person, they have rhythm, period.
Yes.
You can't get away from it. Nothing you can do. Sorry, I'm not trying to offend anybody. It's just what you have naturally. You can play any instrument in the world you want. All you have to do is decide it's the one you want and whether it's important or not. You may not want to be a sax player, but you might go, I'm really moved emotionally even by drums. So then you can play drums. I can show you how to start, and then you'll take it further than I could ever go, because I'm not really interested in that. I'm not trying to be the greatest at anything. I just want to be rounded enough to be able to do everything that I need for myself. I'm not trying to impress another musician or try and be out there showing how good I am, because I'm not. But I'm good enough to write my songs. I'm good enough to play everything that I need to play on anybody's record. I can play with any band in the world. If they said they needed a drummer, bass, guitar, keyboard player, I can do it. But I'm not the greatest musician. And you know what? I don't really want that title. I really don't. I just want to be able to do what I can do for my own projects. And so what I'm promising you is that I want to honor you and recognize the God in you, and just tell you that the word can't, you don't really need that. We all need to let that go as much as we can. As much as we can. I know that sometimes it's appropriate, but when it comes to things that you feel you want to do and you say you can't, I don't really believe.
I guess I should have said I'm unable at this point.
I get that. At this point, you're just unable. But you can do it. And now I'd be honored to help anybody that wants to learn how to do whatever it is, because I feel like you're helping me right now. I mean, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be having this conversation. This is feeding my spirit. It's feeding my soul. This is not, it's never a one-way street. It's always an even exchange. We're exchanging energy. And so I'm honored that you guys are giving me the ability to have this conversation with a bunch of wise brothers that are teaching me who I am. I'm learning more of who I am.
I'm honored to have you on this panel as well, to take time out of your busy schedule. So it's very, very much appreciated. Very much. Y'all are much more important than that session, believe me.
Yeah.
I mean, the session's going to happen regardless of what. But if I got a choice between sitting with some brothers and sisters that are enlightening me, well, brothers and sister that are enlightening me and giving me enlightenment, that a session ain't never going to become more important than that.
I love you guys.
I live for this.
Exactly.
I got a question for you, Magic.
Yes, sir.
You were speaking about if you had a session that you would bring. I heard you say, you said the magic word to me. You said MPCX. I currently operate the Renaissance. So if you bring that, brother, I am there, because that's my background right there. You know.
Listen, I bought the Renaissance first because I bought the first MPC 60 when it first came out. I got it from Roger Lynn. That's how long ago.
Wow.
That's what we got a record deal with. Go on. Preach. Keep going.
So, now the first drum machine I ever played was in Lenny White's basement. It was an Oberheim DMX. That was the first time I played a drum machine. Actually, before that, he had this thing called, he had the 808 also, but he had this Roland a CR50 or something like that. It was a rhythm box. They called
it. The Dr. Rhythm?
Yes, Dr. Rhythm.
Wow, I had that. I had that.
Yes, I had that. I mean, I didn't have that. I played with that at Lenny White's house. And then he bought a DMX and called me, Magic, come check out this new thing. So he had a DMX and it was hooked up to an OBX, Oberheim. And then we went from that, he got a Linn drum. And we had the Linn drum too. And then I moved to California. And then I bought an MPC 60.
The first one.
It was literally Roger Lynn's machine.
Yeah.
And I got that. And then I went from that to every MPC ever made I had. But right now I have the Renaissance and the X. I also have the Machina Studio. I have the Ableton Push. You know, I keep all my drum machines because I had the, you know, Yamaha line, the whole Yamaha line.
Yeah.
Because again, even if I wanted to hate drums, we can't do that. It's like somebody telling me to hate your eyes or hate your foot. I mean, it's literally a part of who we are. So I would love for you guys, anytime any one of y'all want to come and we can hang out and bust out the machines. And I mean, I got all these drums, a whole panel of drum machines. And I mean, I sold some of the stuff I sold. I wish I hadn't, like an 808 and different things like that. But, you know, obviously, and I had I had drum sets, electronic.
I'm a natural drummer. I don't need my own machine.
The Synclavier, I was going to get a Fairlight. When the Synclavier was out, it was the two top dogs were the Synclavier and the Fairlight. The Synclavier at the time that I wanted to get it cost more than the house I'm in right now.
It did.
No way. You know what? You know how many things I can do with that money as opposed to buy a keyboard? Now listen to this. That same Synclavier that I wanted, that George Duke had, by the way, the same one, somebody offered it to me for $1,500 a couple of years ago. When you think about that, things are only worth what we're willing to pay for it. So when I bought the MPCX, it was when it first came out. When it first came out, I paid $2,100 or something for it.
All right.
You can get them now for like $1,700 or whatever. And the point I'm making is, you know, sometimes we put more value in these things than we do. That's why I said more important to me than my session is being able to fellowship with you guys, because I'm learning something about me. And to me, there's no better investment than I can ever make than in myself. And every time I speak to another brother and get another perspective or another sister and learn more deeply who I am and how I can discover myself or reintroduce myself to me, that's going to be more important. That's going to be much more important to me than a session. I can do the session anytime. This what we're doing, I can't do anytime. So I got to grab this while the iron's hot, while you offer the opportunity. I have to take it now. We can't do this anytime. So the session happens anytime. I'm bored with that shit. I don't get bored with this, which is why we're still talking. Because, you know, I just don't get bored with talking to you guys and listening to everybody say what they need to say. And the possibility and the excitement of the fact that we all might get together and meet on the physical reality. That to me is exciting. That I might have y'all come over and we cook some food and, you know, just fellowship and play some music and then let Hamilton pimp us out into buying shit we really don't need. I mean, that's funny.
I love you guys.
Leave your checkbook at home.
But hey, Magic and Harmony
for the Queen.
Real quick, man. This is the last question.
I got one last
question.
Get out of here. Real quick. Yeah, real quick. Real question for the Queen. Now, for you, my queen, you being a female in the business and we're doing what you're doing behind the scenes, how hard has it been for you just by being a woman in the industry where men with super egos who may be in your same line of network, how did you, I mean, if you even encountered that, how do you deal with it, or is it something that you occur on a daily basis on your job?
She encountered
it. I encountered it. I think it was years of being, again, in a band where there was a lot of guys. We had, at one point, it was
3 females.
It was 3 females. So we would have candid conversations. This is how guys see things. This is how women see things. And then ultimately it became, I needed to be comfortable with myself. If I'm comfortable with myself, then I can speak and learn how to say things without being, oh, she's just being a bitch, or she, you know, or I'm being a pushover. When I first got out there, actually it still happens. As soon as I walk in, oh, the dressing room is that way. And I'm like, thanks, because they think that I'm a dancer or my rig, because I carry my rig with me. And so I just go, okay, thanks. And then I walk, and every time I see them, you know, looking out of the corner of their eyes, and then I just go, you know, la la la, and I walk up to the stage. I'm like, hey, I'm Harmony. Oh, you're Harmony, like, yep. And so the thing for me is to be as nice as possible, to also recognize I get the Me Too thing. I do get it. But what the women have to recognize is the Me Too does not have to get there. If we can just, in the moment, say something like, that actually doesn't make me feel comfortable with what you just said. And this may help you. Would you say this to your mother? Would you say this to your wife? Would you say this to your daughter? And if the answer is no, and as soon as I say that, then they get like, wow. And so
don't let Harmony's niceness fool you too, because she's from the hood.
There have only been two cases where something was said so out of line that I just realized I can't speak right now because I'm so mad.
I had to tell this one guy, I told him, he disrespected her, and I went to him. The curtains were closed. Remember the old days when curtains would be closed and then they opened the bands there? Well, we recently did some shows like that a few months ago. And this guy said something to Harmony that hurt her feelings, or what? It didn't hurt her feelings, it was disrespectful. So I walked up to him because she was so mad she couldn't even talk. So I walked up to him and I said, okay, we got 2 things we could do here. One of them is gonna be, I'm gonna handle you, or the other one is gonna be, you're gonna go and apologize to her. Now you can make the choice. I'm giving you full freedom. You can make that choice. And I was talking just like that. I said, I'm either gonna handle you, or you're gonna go apologize to Harmony. He walked over to Harmony so fast before those curtains opened and apologized to her, and she was all nice and smiling, thank you, whatever. But Harmony, I always tell people, don't be fooled. I had to tell the Whispers band this. Harmony's from the hood. If she has to throw down, she ain't one of those girls that be running and falling and shit and her heel get caught. Harmony will duke it out if she has to.
That's what Mel from the Whispers always
She's taking the ears off and pulling out the Vaseline.
Oh yeah. Don't be fooled by the size, because Harmony don't play.
Lavelle says from the Whispers, he says, you're a real girly girl, but you can get down with the brothers. And I'll be the first one, come on, let's go, keep up. Because I'll be the first one at the front. But yes, ultimately is being comfortable with yourself and recognizing that if somebody says something out of line, you have to nip it in the bud early on.
Right away.
Because it's the small comments that we can't laugh it off. Because if you let that laugh off, then another one comes and then another one comes. And so
it gets bigger and bigger as it goes.
Right, it gets bigger and bigger. And then when you do say something, then the person is like shocked, like, I can't believe you're going there. And I've been down that route too, so I've learned. And so the thing is to, again, being comfortable with yourself and being respectful when you are letting somebody know that the comment that just came out of their mouth it made you feel uncomfortable.
Thank you, Queen.
And using the mother,
That's right.
The mother thing will get you. It gets them immediately. What'd you see? I really don't think that your mother would like that.
Put them in chat. Harmony, put them in chat.
It's your mother.
Right.
Well, thank you for that, Harmony and Magic. Hey, you know, it wouldn't be for Hamilton because I met y'all through Ham. Ham, we're gonna close this out. You got any last statements you want to make real quick?
I'm in here, Vision.
I just want to say, I want to thank my brother and my sister for coming on. and thank them for giving us this opportunity to know them. And there's my other sister back there.
What up, Vision?
How you doing, Vision? And giving us this opportunity to get in their minds and them dropping jewels on us, and we all learn from those.
Thank you.
From
Thank
those
you.
jewels. And that's all I have to say. I love you guys, and I can't wait to see you. I think I'm gonna see you guys next weekend because I gotta put some cans in your house. But anyway, I love you guys, and thank you so much.
Please, guys, please
doing this.
get our numbers, because I definitely don't want to lose you guys. Get my number, direct number. This is not a machine. It's my shit. If I don't answer, I will definitely call you back. But I want to stay connected to y'all, because I feel like something bigger than what I'm aware of is designed from this connection that we have here. So please get my number and my email, and I would love to work with you guys on a song or whatever we need to do. I think it'd be incredible for us to, you know, we can work over the internet. Send a, hey, let me send you a song beat.
All day.
Down on
Right.
it. Back and
All
forth.
day.
Just
We
let's
fly
make
tracks all the time,
thing
yeah.
happen, man. I really appreciate you guys and love your spirit and what I'm feeling coming through. I don't believe we're blocked just because we're in tech. Our energy is bigger than the technology, so we're feeling your energy from wherever you are in the world. So
now I gotta ask Vision one question, and I'm for real. We out of here, Magic. Vision, since you came into the picture, thank you. It's good to see you again. How you doing?
you gotta talk louder. They can't hear you.
It's great to see you.
Now I know, Vision, you do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and I've seen you out there. I know you have a beautiful voice as well. Do you think that technology has taken the soul out of the music?
From what I would have seen, it's helped actually for people for more expression, because there are more opportunities, because people can get out there. There's so many people creating, and I respect technology, and I think it's made us all better. And it's just, I mean, it's amazing to sit and watch Glodine White, Harmony, Magic, just sit around the kitchen table and be able to sing with all the radio and do all the harmonies and all the things that they can do out of their own talents. But I respect and appreciate that technology has made it so widespread.
I'm a tech head. I gotta tell you, I love that shit.
Well, hey, man, I want to thank you guys for joining in. I want to thank the whole family over there for participating in the Lyvation conversation. I want to thank our esteemed panelists. As always, make sure that y'all subscribe, like the videos. Please leave a comment. We want to hear from you. Peace and Lyvation.
Of her was all it took to change my point of view, but she never really